How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Race first, family.
Yes, yes.
Peace and blessings, family. I am Brother Everett, Minister of Information of the UNIA. I am also President of Division 106 in Baltimore, 106, named after the great scholar John Henry Clark and our great General Hannibal Barker. Wanted to acknowledge a couple of people in the room. First of all, President John from Atlanta. We have President Blyden from Buffalo. Great to see you, my brother. I've been hounding him for a minute. I'm glad we got him today. I don't see any other presidents right now or anybody from the parent body. So at this time, what we usually do is start with the pledge. Brother John, would you like to lead us in the pledge today? While I let these people in?
Yes, not a problem. That'd be my pleasure. If everyone would, please put your black fists in the air. Repeat after me. I commit my body, mind, and spirit.
I commit my body, mind, and spirit
To the protection, defense, and security.
to
To
the
the protection, defense, and security
Red, black, and green.
of the red, black, and green.
I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa.
I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother
Africa,
Liberation of her scattered.
liberation of her scattered.
I accept for myself and my descendants.
I accept for myself and my descendants
The teachings of universal African nationalism.
the teachings of universal African nationalism.
And I promise that our children will be instilled.
And I promise that our children will be instilled
With the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people.
with
with
the
the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people.
In order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail.
in
Order
order
that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail.
Until all Black people are free and united.
all Black people are free and united
Through one God.
Through
one
God,
God,
One aim.
one aim,
One destiny.
one
destiny.
destiny.
Race first, family. Thank you.
All right, Freeman, I'll call you back. Okay.
Thank you, Brother John. Thank you, Brother John. So letting people in. I wanted to pass the mic on to Brother Shaka, who's going to start the presentation for me. But I wanted to make sure I acknowledge everyone. I see a mic in the building. If that's not you, it's the President General.
Yes, I'm on, brother.
Great, so glad you could join us today.
President General.
You did an excellent presentation. So we want to get with you a little later after Brother Shaka, if you could stay on. But if you have to leave, let us know, because we love to hear you speak on your feelings of the pardon, and hopefully we can get some education on what a pardon is and what being exonerated is. So thank you, President General. Whenever you join us, you build us up and make us stronger. And thank you all. I know it's early in the morning for joining me. I just want to keep us being united and keep us meeting and talking about things as much as possible. So Brother Shaka, I hopefully can let a few more people in. Could you start the program?
Excuse me, Brother Everett, just before you start, if I may, this is Sister Basima Muhammad Bey.
Yes, race
If I
first,
could
Sister
have a
Basima. I'm
second.
glad you could make it. I did not know you was on.
Yes, sir. I would just like to also add my name into the participating list of UNIA. I'm the former 4th Assistant President General, 4th term held position. So I just want to recognize that I'm here participating in this historical conversation. And again, welcome, President General.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister.
Yes, sir, and everyone else.
Thank you, Sister Basima.
Thank you.
You know, it's
Thank
always
you.
a blessing when you can join us and bless us with your energy.
Ashay, give thanks, brother, for the moment. Thank you, Brother Shaka.
Thank you. While we're going on the presentation, if you guys have any questions, please raise your hand. Try to mute yourself so we can hear, whoever's speaking. And of course, President General, you always can jump in when you need to. All right, Brother Shaka, it's on you. You got to unmute yourself, Brother Shaka.
Shaka.
All right. Sorry about that.
Brother Shaka, I'm here if you need me. It's Brother John.
All right, my brother. Giving praise to the creator of the universe, to our elected officers, President General, members of the High Executive Council, to this distinguished leadership of our Minister of Information, also the President of the Baltimore Division, Brother Hargrove, who again has been assisting the Minister of Information. We put this together and let's get started. It is providential that the United States President, in one of his last acts before leaving office, was to pardon the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr. on Sunday, the day before the national holiday celebration for Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That is today. Then the UNIA Minister of Information seized this opportunity to celebrate the Honorable Marcus Garvey's pardon on King's birthday celebration. Both Dr. King and the Honorable Marcus Garvey were victims of persecution by elements inside the United States government. Whether it's colonial powers or local powers, they have always resisted the forward movement of African people at home and abroad. In the United States, the Bureau of Investigation, that became the FBI, has used covert operations against domestic political groups since its inception. Investigation of the African American group started in 1919 with the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, when no stone was left unturned to persecute the founder of the first and largest mass movement with millions of African American members. These tactics included infiltrating the UNIA's businesses, auxiliaries, and officers with some of the first Black FBI agents, discrediting him, using propaganda and psychological warfare in an attempt to smear him and the UNIA, planting false reports in the media, both Black and white, like the Chicago Defender newspaper, harassment, encouraging and supporting rival organizations like the NAACP, illegal gun violence that was an assassination attempt on his life, using the courts and so-called justice system to bring about his wrongful imprisonment. It was on January the 12th, 1922, 103 years ago, that the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, founding first President General of the UNIA, was arrested, then tried and convicted by an all-white jury, sentenced and imprisoned. After 2 years and 9 months, his sentence was commuted and he was deported. I remember how 44 years ago, I was in the UNIA and I saw a bill that was introduced to the Congress of the United States by Jesse Helms, and later spearheaded by Congressman John Conyers and Charles Rangel in 1987, calling for the posthumous pardon of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. For 44 years, the pardon granted January 1925 by the US President Joe Biden has been an elusive one. As one who has collected signatures on petitions here on the streets of Chicago with a goal of 100,000 signatures, today my optimistic attitude has paid off. The pardon was not granted because a handful of leaders supported an effort designed to clear the Honorable Marcus Garvey's name, because he is innocent and a victim of malicious investigation headed by J. Edgar Hoover, the former director of the Bureau of Investigation, forerunner to the FBI, who labeled the Honorable Marcus Garvey a notorious Negro agitator. The conviction of the Honorable Marcus Garvey was a wrongful conviction, labeled using the mails to in furtherance of a scheme to defraud. He was targeted by the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover and deprived of a fair trial. While in Atlanta, with the recommendations of the U.S. Attorney General, 9 of the 12 white jurors who voted to convict him supported his release. President Calvin Coolidge commuted his 5-year sentence after him serving 2 years and 9 months in 1927. On February the 14th, 2005, here are some examples of efforts to get the Marcus Garvey exonerated. Representative Charles Rangel, Democrat of New York, introduced House Concurrent Resolution 57, which expressed the sense of the Congress that the president should grant a pardon to Marcus Garvey to clear his name and affirm his innocence of crime for which he was unjustly prosecuted and convicted. The mayor of the city of Los Angeles adopted a resolution in its city 2005 to 2006 for a posthumous pardon for the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. A resolution was passed in Hartford, Connecticut in May the 10th, 2004. A resolution of the city of Lauderdale, Florida, 12th day of July, 2004. Miami, Florida, formed a coalition for the exoneration of Marcus Garvey that involved people like Ijabalani Tufari, Jason Walker, Miguel Murphy, Priest Dougie, and many, many more. January the 10th, 2007, the 110th Congress, first session, Con Resolution 24, Congressman Rangel submitted a resolution calling on the president to restore the Honorable Marcus Garvey's good name through granting a full posthumous pardon. In August of 2013, the United States ambassador to Nigeria, on behalf of His Majesty Diwino Olu Minu, the Akron of Bagbri Kingdom, and African Renaissance Foundation, called for the exoneration of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Now, naturally, all these resolutions and proclamations will include how the Honorable Marcus Garvey was a towering figure in African American, and world history. He himself maintained his innocence and his desire to be exonerated through the remainder of his life. So, brothers and sisters, as we come here today for this great program, we know that there have been many, like Dr. King, like Patrice Lumumba, like many who have been put in prison and killed because they sought to bring about a justice for our people. So now here's an attempt to get justice for the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we are very happy to be able to be here to witness this. I mean, 44 years is a long time to wait on something, but it has finally happened, and some of us are very and extremely happy that it has. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, Brother Shaka. Just wanted to make sure everybody's identified. We have two iPhones on, iPhone and iPhone 2. Could you please identify yourself real quick? Just want to make sure we're on standard.
Lady President, Division 407, Beverly Kendall Walker.
Thank you, Sister Beverly.
Sister Zafia Bay.
Oh, what's up, Sister Zafia? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Driving home from Ohio to Maryland, so might not be able to jump right on. But
that's cool. But I appreciate you joining.
Okay. Peace.
Race first. All right, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you, Brother John, and then hopefully we can get to PG to speak.
Chief Elder Minister in the house.
Race first, Chief Elder.
Race first.
Yes, sir. Well, Brother Shaka, I won't be able to give video at the same time I'm doing audio, but Brother Shaka recapped a lot of the significance as to why we are gathering here today on Martin Luther King federal holiday. We celebrate his birthday January 15th, but the United States government recognizes his holiday on the 20th, which is today. As Brother Shaka was saying, and Brother Everett, could you make me co-host so I can share briefly?
You should be able to share.
Okay. All right.
Let me know if you can.
Sharing is not turned on.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Everett.
All right, check now. Race first. We have the ambassador, one of our ambassadors, Brother Josue, on race first, good brother.
Yes, brother. Good morning. I'm under the weather.
Are you good
Yeah,
now?
that's why I couldn't.
Still not.
I'm here at work. Yeah, that's why I couldn't talk to you the other day. Just being sick. Yeah.
Brother Everett, I'm still not able to share.
I just hit something. Let me know now.
Sharing. Okay.
Gotcha.
Sharing will stop other participants. Yeah, that should work. This will be brief because Brother Shaka pretty much already laid it out. We're celebrating or acknowledging, commemorating the pardon of Marcus Garvey by the United States government. This is not the end goal. However, this is a moment of acknowledgement. And this is very important, I would argue, on behalf of the youth, the young people. One thing that Mr. Garvey teaches, is knowing about history. And a lot of us didn't, many of us elders are able to have a direct connection to Mr. Garvey and Mr. Garvey's time. A lot of us younger people, we don't have that same connection. So knowing of the legitimacy of Mr. Garvey and the UNIA is important. And not to say that we rely on the United States for that legitimacy, but the fact that the United States is willing to, 100 years later, acknowledge the accomplishments of Mr. Garvey and the UNIA, that means a lot for this generation and future generations. And as Brother Shaka already pointed out, you can look this up. It's all over the news. President Biden, 47th president, 46th president of the United States, my apologies, pardoned the Honorable Marcus Garvey officially yesterday, and we are honoring that today. And I'll give a brief recap of what Brother Shaka just said as to what led up to Mr. Garvey requesting a pardon. So let me share the right screen. Share. Okay. We're not going to go over the full history, but we'll talk. Well, I'm not going to go over the full history tonight, but it culminated in Mr. Garvey being accused of mail fraud and having to have a trial for that mail fraud in 1923 in New York. And this accused mail fraud was in relationship with the Black Star Line. There was a letter that was used, or envelope, actually, an empty envelope that was used as primary evidence that was dated December 13th, 1920, sent to one Benny Dancy, 34 West 131st Street in New York. That was the primary evidence used, again, an empty letter. Mr. Garvey, unfortunately, was convicted by the United States Circuit Court of Appeals, and his case was refused to be reviewed by the Supreme Court in 1925, which subsequently led to Mr. Garvey initially being incarcerated in New York, but being transferred to the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary in 1925. One of the quotes that Mr. Garvey said in regards to him being incarcerated or persecuted, I think is a better term. He says, quote, "I am here," and he was talking about the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. He says, "because I dared to tell the Negro that the time has come for him to lift up his head and to be a man." So it was clear that what Mr. Garvey's message and the aims and objects of the UNIA became a direct challenge to global white supremacy and the ideals of the United States. Mr. Garvey's sentence was commuted by then President Calvin Coolidge. And he was, in 1927, he was deported back to Jamaica officially December 2nd, 1927. But Mr. Garvey, as I've learned, the pardon is something that Mr. Garvey asked for in his time. And again, I say this is not the end goal. There's still work to be done. We must move to exoneration. but we will still take time to come together, acknowledge this moment, and capitalize on this moment and this energy to honor the legacy of Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey and to rebuild his organization, UNIA-ACL. I think I have one. This is the last slide I'll share, just in regards to the persecution. This comes from Race First, chapter 9. This is one of the introductory quotes that Tony Martin uses. And it comes from J. Edgar Hoover, who was the director of the Bureau. Well, I don't know if he was even director at the time, but he was. He was. This was the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. He says, Garvey is a West Indian Negro, and in addition to his activities in endeavoring to establish the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation, he has also been particularly active among the radical elements in New York City in agitating the Negro movement. Unfortunately, at this time, when this was written, initially however, he has not yet violated any federal laws whereby he could be proceeded against on the grounds of being an undesirable alien from the point of view of deportation. It occurs to me, however, from the attached clipping, so there was some information that had already been sent to J. Edgar Hoover. There might be some proceedings against him for fraud in connection with his Black Star Line propaganda. And lastly, I'll just close with, this did not stop with Mr. Garvey's deportation in 1927. It actually continued. Let me see where I've got this. It continued to 1930 from the documentation. On page 179, Dr. Tony Martin writes in Race First, the chapter USA versus UNIA, he says, as late as 1930, Hoover was still dealing with the UNIA, this time preferring information to the Department of State, which was investigating the activities of a Trinidadian in Chicago suspected of being connected with Garvey's movement. So this was not a one-time, one-year persecution. This is a long attack on Mr. Garvey and the UNIA by the United States government. So this step of acknowledgments of their wrongs, we believe is progress towards full exoneration. And with that, thank you, Brother Everett. I will pass it back to you.
Thank you, Brother John. I wanted to get our President General to speak. For those who don't know, he sits in the seat of Marcus Garvey. He's the 10th successor to Marcus Garvey, the 11th President General. And before you go on, President General, a couple of things that hopefully you could address, because I was under the assumption that this was an exoneration because they had pardoned Marcus Garvey before when they deported him, but I may have been incorrect on some of my information. So hopefully you can educate us on that and just talk to the people about what's necessary and how we can move forward with the situation. President General?
Yes. Good morning, family. Brother Everett, thank you for organizing this. Brother Shaka, Brother John, it's always a pleasure when we can organize as a family for the benefit of the Black race. Anytime I get that opportunity to be at a meeting like this, I am happy because it means that we as a people, we are doing what we're supposed to do for our people. Brothers and sisters, remember, we believe in self-reliance. I want to say something to you. When an unjust court put down an unjust decision against a just person, that just person then cannot go back to that unjust court for a just decision. Where I'm concerned, we will never get a just decision on the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey in this country. Mr. Garvey movement back in the early 1900 created a storm. He shook the cornerstone of three major empires, the United States, France, and England. And for that, the Garvey Must Go campaign, this came along. There wasn't any way Mr. Garvey was going to win a case in court because it was prejudged. The judge at that time was a member of the NAACP. And 4 of the members, keyboard members on the NAACP, they were close friends with that judge. That judge should have recused himself from that case. Within that case, again, you have a brother who lied and admitted to lying, but the case went ahead anyway. Mr. Garvey brought these thoughts and ideas up, but they were disregarded because there was no way Mr. Garvey could have won. The objective was to let Mr. Garvey go. I've been hearing about pardon for the longest time. And while I would not stand in the way of anyone seeking a pardon for Mr. Garvey, I personally was not going to endorse it because I know exactly what a pardon means. A pardon simply means that you are forgiving the person for the crime he or she committed. A pardon means that you are removing the conviction from the person's name. However, the criminal record of the person still stands. So on the book of the United States, Mr. Garvey was given a pardon, and the pardon does not take away the crime of the USA as a criminal. I would like to see Mr. Garvey's name completely removed as a criminal. That's where we talk about the pardon versus the exoneration. What the exoneration does is to simply say whatever charges were brought against Mr. Garvey, whatever convictions were brought forward, were illegal, were not true, were not right, were not constitution. Therefore, we are throwing out everything. Mr. Garvey would be a free man. His name would not be in the books of as a criminal, and that's what we're asking for, brothers and sisters. Mr. Garvey did not do anything. We know what happened to Mr. Garvey was because of the social and political climate at that time. So I'm not willing to accept this. I'm not willing to accept this at all, but I won't stand in any way of anyone who feels that he or she is happy about this. If this government here want to exonerate Mr. Garvey, they need to also exonerate Black people right now. They need to stop this racism. They need to stop killing Black people in the streets. They need to give equal education. You want to exonerate Marcus Garvey? Put forward his philosophies and opinion and let his people go. Words or anything, or they can do anything to make us feel better. I'm not in the feel better moment, brothers and sisters. Exonerate Marcus Garvey. If you have to go through Congress, go ahead and do it. If you have to go through the Senate, go ahead and do it. But don't tell me you're pardoning him and he's still on the books. Yes, Coolidge basically did a pardon. And the reason why Coolidge did the pardon was that 70,000 African people in 1927 signed a petition saying that Mr. Garvey was not guilty. He did not do anything wrong. 70,000 persons here in these United States. And Coolidge only let him go because Coolidge was told that if you don't let Mr. Garvey go, you're going to lose the election. So again, Coolidge only did that as a benefit to himself to ensure that he was elected. Brothers and sisters, if we want to see Mr. Garvey get exonerated, forget about the US government. We, African people, should exonerate Marcus Garvey. And what you can do for those who are not members of the UNIA, tell them to join the movement that Mr. Garvey created. And those who are members, commit yourself more to the principles, the philosophy, and the opinion of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Make sure we're able to serve African people all over the world. Make sure we're able to build that empire in Africa that Mr. Garvey wanted for us. Mr. Garvey said it clear. At this point, Mr. Garvey would not be asking for any pardon at this time, would not be asking for any pardon against the same system that ostracized him. Mr. Garvey said it clear. Mr. Garvey said, when I did what I did, I knew exactly what would happen to me, Black people. However, men who are in earnest are unafraid of consequences. Mr. Garvey wasn't dreaming. But say he wasn't fantasizing. He knew what these people would do to him. And exactly what he thought they would do to him, they did to him. So again, brothers and sisters, if some of you want to feel a little happy about this, but see, I'm not going to rain on your parade. But I'd like to see the government totally remove Mr. Garvey's name. Last but least, why they're never going to exonerate Mr. Garvey. To exonerate him would to tell the people that we did something wrong against him. To exonerate him would tell that we have to give him back, give him and the UNIA reparation. Meaning everything that was stolen, everything that was lost because of Mr. Garvey's conviction under an exoneration, you would then have to go revisit those real estates that were taken. You would have to go revisit those assets that were stolen and lost from the UNIA. Now we would have to start the conversation about repaying reparation for the UNIA with interest. These people are not willing to give us reparation for slavery for 400 years. You think they're going to give us reparation for a man they hated and despised? Brothers and sisters, I thank each and every one of you for coming on this platform. This is the beginning. This meeting here today of us, UNIA members, is the first step towards getting exoneration for the prophet, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the greatest man that ever walked earth. Thank you, and have a blessed morning.
Thank you, President General. Before I let you go, you're always talking about something I think that we have to understand here. You always say we have to canalize Marcus Garvey. We have to keep his dream alive. And you know, we were trying so hard to go on to college campuses, and you'd be surprised at HBCUs how many people don't know about Marcus Garvey. To the people on right now, just give them a little of what you would say, how we can canalize him and keep his name alive and keep pushing for the youth to know who he really was.
Brothers and sisters, first, every time I call Mr. Garvey's name, I follow with a sentence, the greatest man that ever walked earth. It's not because I believe it, it's because I know it. And we need to let people know that Mr. Garvey is the greatest man that ever walked earth. And everything that Mr. Garvey did, we need to follow in his footsteps. But the greatest compliment we can give to Mr. Garvey is to bring our brothers and sisters, our families into the folds of the UNIA. Keep Mr. Garvey pictures in your home. Keep it in your business place. As I said, every time you get a chance to speak about him, speak about him. Love Black people. Just do for Black people. Serve Black people. Brothers and sisters, Africa is still waiting on us. Mr. Garvey's objective was to build Africa, to build that self-reliant base in Africa. We can still do it. So, brothers and sisters, in your comings and your going, speak of Marcus Garvey. In your home, speak of Marcus Garvey. Invite your families and your friends to the UNIA meeting that we can continue to grow Marcus Garvey. If we can get 70,000 on a signature list again, Brother Everett, like we did in 1927, we should be able to get 5 times that. They will exonerate Marcus Garvey. The only way he will be exonerated totally is for us to build such a big mass movement that they're afraid of this movement. But brothers and sisters, commit to the UNIA, double, triple, quadruple time as well, and make the UNIA synonymous with greatness over the world. And everything we do, thank the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Yes, brother, we must continue to canonize the prophet, the greatest man that the ancestors sent for us. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I always steal your line, so I know I hit you hard. I got that one.
Yes, brother.
Thank you, President General. We wanted to go around briefly, Brother John, if you could help me call out some people, or I'll go through the line, and just give some brief responses to what the President General says. Everybody wanted to comment, could raise your hand in the chat, and we'll get to you.
Well, if we can go, wanted to hear if Brother Shaka.
Yes, Brother Shaka, you back on?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I know you logged off for a minute.
I'm not turning this station off. Thank you, President General Michael Duncan, for sharing your thoughts on the pardon, and certainly what you had to say about not standing in the way. You know, we've always had, like I said, for 44 years that I know of, an interest in this taking place. And it, as Brother John said, it doesn't stop there. We've had to do some research over those 44 years. And so we have men and women who are quite articulate as it relates to what is the difference between commuting a pardon and exoneration. Because we need to understand the different, not only nuances, but what it is that we have just accomplished. And so, you know, Brother John also asked us to look carefully at Dr. Martin Luther King. Oftentimes, when we talk about Africans who have been influenced by the Honorable Marcus Garvey, we certainly will talk about the African leaders, Jomo Kenyatta, Nnamdi Azikiwe, the African National Congress. I mean, we go on and on. But Dr. King said something very special. In fact, Dr. Kuda shared in the chat room, if you all can look that way just for a minute. This is a quote from Dr. King. It's not the whole quote, but he said, Marcus Garvey was the first man of color in the history of the United States to lead and develop a mass movement. He was the first man on a mass scale and level to give millions of Negroes a sense of dignity and destiny, and make the Negro feel that he was somebody. So even though we in the UNIA promote the spirit of universal African nationalism, and Dr. King, to some extent, was an integrationist, but when we study our preamble, aren't we a friendly group? Aren't we charitable? When we look at our objects and aims, don't we love our people? Don't we have pride in our race? So while there are some differences in our ideologies, every movement that has come into existence has stood on the shoulders of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, including Dr. King. There's a relationship with the Dr. King family and the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Some of you have already found out that there's a relationship with Shirley Chisholm and her family in the UNIA. There's Miles Davis' family, El Haj Malik El Shabazz and his family. Both his mother and father were officers of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. So Carol Mosley Bronze, I mean, it's just an unlimited amount of men and women who have been touched by the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and some were honest enough to tell what that experience was. So again, King went to Jamaica and laid a shrine at the laid a wreath at the shrine of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Our President General took us there too. And all of you, if you haven't had a chance yet, go to Jamaica and go to Kingston and see that beautiful shrine. But go there and also connect with the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and then connect with the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Lastly, our Minister of Information saw this as a building block, that if we took the momentum that could come from recognizing that the president of the most powerful nation on earth, got more nuclear bombs than you can count, the most powerful and the most influential nation on earth, decided to pardon the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Now, who did that? Marcus Garvey's son was given the mandate that you pursue a pardon for me for the rest of your life as a child. There are many who have been inspired to find justice for the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Not that this is the end, but it's a form of justice when you can get the most powerful nation. So we're thankful to the congressmen who were there championing and pushing and putting pressure on Joe Biden. We're happy for those other men and women who said that they were going to buy into this idea. And no matter what it took. So brothers and sisters, you know, I'm just so happy because I lived to see it happen. I couldn't really imagine it. I worked for it because I'm optimistic. But to see it happen in my lifetime, and I'm going to tell you one last thing before I suggest you get a little bit of this research that we do in the Marcus Garvey Institute. I was so happy to get a phone call. I don't know how you all found out about this pardon. I got a phone call in the morning, woke me up, and the caller said, I got some good news for you. I'm like, wow, I could use some good news because I'm hearing so many other things that are going on. I only get some relief when I read the Philosophy and Opinions, but okay, give me the good news. And the good news was that Marcus Garvey had been pardoned. Now, you can't, if you ain't bought into this idea for fighting for justice for the Honorable Marcus Garvey as best we can, then you can't imagine the feeling that I had. I mean, tears came into my eyes to find out that now the Universal Negro Improvement Association will have access to the youth, as John has said. We'll have access to the people who had doubts about the Honorable Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. And now we'll be able to challenge those groups and those forces that went after us when the Honorable Marcus Garvey was still being labeled as a criminal and had no justice and had no opportunity for redemption. And now this has happened. And so if this is empowering us to now take the UNIA to another level so that we can manifest the kinds of achievements that the Honorable Marcus Garvey achieved. And so that our membership will grow from, rather than being several hundred people, several hundred in a division, several thousand in each division, because now we have the impetus. And if we use this momentum and take this program to the masses of our people and say, see there, we told you that the Honorable Marcus Garvey was an honest man. We told you he never stole a penny from anybody. We told you that other people had framed him and that had indicted him and sentenced him and tried him and imprisoned him. But the man said, what? Would I not die a million deaths for you? Would I not, like my best ghost, walk the earth forever for you? Cheer up, better days are ahead. And brothers and sisters, I think that we're at that point where better days are ahead. Brother Winchester, Minister of Information, this is history. You are part of history. Brother John, this is history. President General, this is history. This is the day after the pardon took place, on the day of the year that has been set aside as the day of the celebration of the national hero of the United States, a black man, Dr. Martin Luther King, who loved the Honorable Marcus Garvey too. This is historical. Keep up the good work, brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the struggle.
I say, Brother Shaka. My fault, Brother John. I know a sister had her hand up, Sister Wanda.
Sorry, go ahead.
Earth Beauty Wanda, did you have a question or comment? Sister Wanda? May have to unmute.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I don't have a question. I'm just listening. I'm excited too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are you a member of the UNIA?
I need to renew, yes, but I was a member in Philly, and I'm in Baltimore now, so yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, Sister Wanda, I know who you are. Thank you, thank you. Yes, we gotta get you renewed up. We waiting on you. Go ahead, Brother John. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, three things. Three things. I'll be very brief. I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. First and foremost, as Brother Shaka said, this is historic. As President General said, we want to be a part of the UNIA. This is the legacy that Mr. Garvey lived, fought, and died for. Is the UNIA. So if there's any way we can honor him, and any way we can build upon this momentum, I would argue it is to build the UNIA. And also from a historic standpoint, what better way, we've talked about this as we were putting this together, the feeling, that Brother Shaka is exuding of being in these positions in this time. When this is historic, as Brother Shaka said. Again, we don't honor what United States says or does, but 100 years after Mr. Garvey was sentenced to prison in the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, we are we are alive. This is our time where we are here and in these positions, not only just on the planet, but in the UNIA, in positions of leadership, presidents, first assistant presidents, vice presidents, minister of information. That's a historic moment. So I encourage everyone to not only be in the audience, but really be involved and be a part of the UNIA. This is a historic moment, and this is going to be a historic year for us in the UNIA in rebuilding. Second thing, I didn't want to overlook what Brother Shaka had mentioned earlier, and I'm probably going to forget my third thing, but he was talking about understanding the difference between exoneration and pardon. So I think that's a discussion. I don't want that to get lost. And the third thing, I can't seem to remember at the moment. It probably has something to do with honoring the legacy of MLK, but we bring it all together. Historic moment, historic day. Exoneration versus pardon is where I would leave it. Thank you, Brother Everett.
Thank you. I see Mama Basima, you had your hand up. And please, Sister Basima, I love it when you drop your history of titles with the UNIA, a former fourth assistant PG. Unmute yourself, my queen.
Yes, can you hear me, Brother Everett?
Yes, I got you loud and clear.
Okay, I was having a hard time getting in. First of all, I would like to give thanks and praise to the Most High and to the ancestors. And before I start, I certainly would like to say that I would like to give honor and praise to my mother. To you brothers who have put this program on, to the dynamic voice of history and memories and gratitude of Brother Shaka, to those who had no reference of the history of the fight to pardon Mr. Garvey, but to wake up today, to know that his name is in history in America's dream of releasing the story that was never real in the beginning, that it never happened. To all of that was said, I would like to humbly say, race first, race first, race first, to the Honorable Michael R. Duncan, our President General, because my sentiments was just that. And I think I can conclude on that part, because we as the race of African people seems to have a more motivated feel, and no disrespect to no one. Whatever floats your boat, we got to move this thing, all wheels turning, all wheels turning. So yes, Brother John, we must take this and make this year the momentum to move UNIA like we could never thought about, as best as possible, unified as possible. But it is the Europeans' concept and mindset to still make most Africans have the gratitude to do better. No disrespect, because I'm not talking to nobody here. I'm just talking about the world of African minds and how we have still been capitalized in our thinking and our progress and our motivation, and who are we really listening to? So I said again, race first, race first, race first, to the Honorable Michael R. Duncan, our President General, because of the thinking power must stay on race first. And with that being said, I will conclude. Race first, family.
Thank you, Sister Basine.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you. I didn't know you were still there, President General.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm still here, sister.
I see Brother John has something to say, and I see Brother James with his hands up. But I wanted to say real quick, when President General was always talking about Marcus Garvey, he goes into the court, and he was saying, "You really gonna let the tiger go?" And then he does that speech where he was like, "You may have a tiger, but my cubs," and all of that, and directing that to that letter is just powerful. And for those that don't know, that when we went to the HEC in Atlanta, all of us went to the penitentiary where they had Marcus Garvey locked up. I think that was a phenomenal event, to be walking in that place with red, black, and green flags, the big ones, not anything small, making that huge statement. And for the President General to recite that letter was just motivating and phenomenal. And I say that is because we have to make sure that we attend these HECs and the conventions and all of that. We got to continue to be strong. Brother John and then Brother James.
Yes, mine was very brief because I remember the third thing that I was thinking of. It was, again, a message from the youth perspective and really the future, the young people, and even the unborn. This is a victory, a historic victory, and a victory in regards to history. One of the challenges that I faced, and one of the challenges that a lot of I've seen our people face, is the amount of time that it takes to get to Mr. Garvey's teachings. Because we're promoted so many other Black leaders in public schools, we know so much about W.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, even a little bit of Malcolm X. But I didn't personally get to Mr. Garvey until I was in college. But by that time, you begin to question, like, hold on, wait a minute. If this guy was around when when these other people were around, why weren't they being talked about? Why are they talking about Booker T. Washington, but they're not talking about this guy? So it automatically, in the public school system, which most of our children are in, it puts a barrier to understanding Mr. Garvey and the UNIA. So that's another thing that I want us to try to embrace, is that recognition that this is something that hopefully can be used to bring the teachings of Mr. Garvey and the UNIA to our children at a younger and faster age. That was the thought.
Okay, Brother James, you're next. James Wilson. And before you go, Brother James, just to let you know, Brother James is from the Atlanta division. He does children's books. So we're trying to do a great, phenomenal children's program where we read one of his books via Zoom. The kids can get engaged and read. I think will be a phenomenal program to start engaging in the youth on. One of his books is about Marcus Garvey, one about Malcolm X, and one about the red, black, and green. And also Brother Raymond has a children's book. So we want to get them involved in that program. Go ahead, Brother James.
All right, race first, family. And Brother Everett, I appreciate you having me on. You and the spirit of Garvey woke me up this morning, man, because I ain't had time to brush my, do my little nappy brush on my hair or nothing. So I appreciate you all. Very inspiring. I got in about 10 minutes ago, or about 15, 20 minutes ago, and I was able to hear our President General And it was a very inspiring message. And he was talking about how we have to make our households Garvey households. And I don't know if you all, to those of y'all who can see in the back, this is a painting that my sister actually painted for me 4 years ago of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. So, you know, anybody who comes into my house knows that this is a Garvey house. There's no mistake about it. I definitely agree with President General that Mr. Garvey is the greatest man to walk this earth. Thank you again for the introduction, Brother Everett. I have written several children's books. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. To those of you all who may not know me, I was born and raised in Nashville. I'm here in Atlanta now. And similar to my President John, growing up, Marcus Garvey was not a figure that was covered. And the people that I learned about personally were Rosa Parks, Dr. Martin Luther King, and several others. You'd hear about Frederick Douglass, you'd hear about Harriet Tubman, but nothing in depth. I too, like my brother President John, didn't learn about Marcus Garvey until I was grown. I was in college, and when I heard his name, I heard him mentioned among some people, and I didn't know too much about him. And when I began to look into him, I thought he was made up. I knew surely a man like that, and a man who led a movement like that and contributed so much to not just Black people in America, but across the world, surely a man like that, my young naive mind thought that my slave master surely would have taught me about him, but they didn't. And so as I became a father, having children of my own, one night I had tasked myself with finding some books on Mr. Garvey so that my children could learn about him. And I didn't, this was about 2018. I really couldn't find many. I found a coloring book, and there was another one. It didn't look like Marcus Garvey at all. So I've always been blessed to be able to write. And so I actually decided to write a book on Marcus Garvey. And it's 2025 now, so almost 7 years ago, I wrote my first book, and that book was actually on Marcus Garvey, and it's called Teach Me About Garvey. And the reason that I wanted to start with Marcus Garvey, of course, was for my own children's sake, but it is necessary, and I'm not going to say necessary, but it's fundamental that all of us as Garveyites and just as Black people, African people around this world, we have to ingratiate our children into the concept of Garveyism. And me in my dealings and going around the country and the world, speaking with different students about Mr. Garvey, I've noticed that the more impressionable age that we introduce them to Mr. Garvey, the more receptive they'll be to that concept, and they'll be able, it'll help shape their worldview when it comes to the plight of African people. But I wrote this book on Mr. Garvey, Teach Me About Garvey, and also I had this book translated into Spanish, Enseñame de Garvey, and I also have the Portuguese version here somewhere. But I made sure that Black children around the world, not just here in America, have a version of Teach Me About Garvey that they can read and that all of our children can relate to. We have to have content and information that all of our children can relate to. My second book is Red, Black, and Green. Tell Me What It Means. I'm just breaking down the concepts and the message and the meaning behind each color of the flag that Mr. Garvey introduced well over 100 years ago. And my third book that I've written is Teach Me About Malcolm. This is the only book on Malcolm X that covers Malcolm in an African-centered way. And of course, there are many odes made to Mr. Garvey in this book because, as we all know, if it wasn't for Marcus Garvey, we wouldn't have a Malcolm X, we wouldn't have an Elijah Muhammad. And on this day that we recognize Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, without Mr. Garvey, Dr. King wouldn't have been the man he is. So it's important that our children learn that. And I'm about to get to the book, Brother Everett. I know everybody's waiting. I just wanted to let everybody know this in the group, and I can put this in the chat as well. I've actually started a youth book club, the Smile Africa International Book Club. Right now is catered to third through sixth graders, and I break the kids down third and fourth grade, fifth and sixth grade. And we're just covering African-centered books that reinforce land history and culture of African people. And like I said, we're trying to get them at these young ages so that they are receptive and to help shape their worldview. We have to understand how important it is to shape their worldview. And finally, if for nothing else, if nobody's heard anything I had to say, when we read Message to the People, Mr. Garvey taught us we have to read 4 hours a day. And we can't really talk Garvey and be about Garvey if we're not about that improvement component that Mr. Garvey took so seriously, even to the extent to give us a blueprint and plan after
Black
his
print,
departure.
brother. Black print, brother. Black print.
Black print, brother. There we go.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So we have to make sure that that we are incorporating these lessons throughout our lives, because our plight in this world is not a cute plight, and it's not a plight for the faint at heart. And one thing that we have to conquer and make sure that we have taken care of is our mind and mentality. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I will go ahead and get into my book. This is my first book, the first book I've ever written and published. You can only get this book from me. You can get it on the white man's Amazon. I do have it on there, but you can also find this book at black bookstores. I'm not in Barnes and Noble. I'm not in Books A Million. I'm not in the major stores. I'm on Amazon, but I'm also on my own website. And after I get through reading, I'll put the information in my website and my social media so that we can connect and engage and embark on this journey of correcting and uplifting the African world. And I also want to shout out my president one more time, brother President John. Division 421 actually bought a case of books from me a case of the Teach Me About Garvey books from me to distribute to the African world. And hopefully we can all create some synchrony there, because we should be the providers of all content on the Honorable, the right and most excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So I just want to shout you out again, Brother President John. Shout out to Brother President General and you, Brother Everett. Let me get into the book so I don't hold you all up too long. I'll be here all morning. Here we go. Teach Me About Garvey. Teach me about Garvey, Miss Teacher, won't you please? The great African visionary was an amazing sight to see. Before Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, millions of African people all over the world followed Marcus Garvey's lead. He hailed from Jamaica, then ventured across the seas, only to see the mistreatment of African people just like me. African people were treated badly as far as the eye could see. So Garvey came up with a plan that would change our destiny. Marcus Garvey came to America and brought the UNIA. That is the Universal Negro Improvement Association, okay? Marcus Garvey was courageous and bold indeed. He planted pride inside the hearts of African people like seeds. Garvey was a great organizer, and he made things happen. He had a black steamship line with a black crew and a black captain. He started a newspaper that was called The Negro World. He even built a doll factory for little black girls. When I go to the schools, brothers and sisters, I emphasize that page and we revisit that. Our children have to know the direct contributions that Marcus Garvey made for them and for their psyche. Or if it wasn't for efforts like that doll factory, we'd still be mentally brainwashed in some areas that we take for granted today. He owned buildings and trucks and ships like a nation. He would inspire many Africans, some Cuban, some Haitian, African American, Puerto Rican, Costa Rican, Jamaican, some Dominican, Brazilian, and even Chilean. Brothers and sisters, this is my favorite part of the book. Even though I wrote the whole thing, I have a favorite part of the book. And I stress this to the children. And this is the component. This is the aspect that all of our children, all African people should relate on. Listen up. He preached Africa for the Africans. Do you know what that means? It means I belong to Africa and Africa belongs to me. Oh, teach me about Garvey, Mr. Teacher, won't you please? African children should know Garvey like we know our ABCs. Let's learn about Garvey now so Africans all over the earth can make Africa a better place because it's our right by birth. Thank you, Marcus Garvey, for all that you did. We shall pick up where you left off. Love Africa's kids. The end. Listen, everybody, as Garveyites, our children have to know that book by heart. They have to know it like they know every other nursery rhyme. They have to know it like they know the Pledge of Allegiance. They have to know this. They have to know Garvey. They have to know Africa. They have to have content and material that belongs and tasks them with uplifting the African world. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brother Everett, Brother President John, Brother President General Michael Duncan. Thank you all. I'll get off of here. I'm going to put my information in the chat. Race first.
Race first. And please, we got to support this brother. We got to support the books on Marcus Garvey, et cetera, et cetera. I see a few hands, Brother John. You had something to say before I went to these hands?
No, sir. Handle your business.
All right. First, I'm going to call our Lady President, Mama Earth, Sister Yvette. She has a statement or question.
Peace, peace, peace. Race first. In honor to each and every one on this call, I am tremendously inspired and honored to be a part of such a phenomenal legacy. I give honor to you, President General Michael Duncan, President Everett, and all that is on the Zoom call today to commemorate such a powerful inspiration to me personally. And I think about Marcus Garvey and his influence on Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And Malcolm X, whose father was also a Garveyite. I read that a while back ago. Before I even knew the depths of Marcus Garvey, I was inspired over 30 years ago, and it was as if his energy was pulling me in the direction of being a part of the UNIA when I had no clue what the UNIA was until 4 years ago. And I find it a tremendous honor to be a part of such a phenomenal legacy. I just wanted to say that Marcus Garvey energy is still alive and well in each and every one of us. And I beseech each and every one of us to reach out and just grab the hand of one Black brother or sister or child and give them the knowledge and the philosophies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey so that we can build this grand, I call it a mighty fist. The fist keeps coming to me as an inspiration, that mighty fist, so that we can reach out to those who do not have any clue who Marcus Garvey is and what his philosophies entailed. I truly believe that Marcus Garvey was a prophet from the Most High, because a lot of the things that I read and the things that he said were profitable. They were speaking about the future when he had, no idea that we will be living in the times that we're living in. And that's why I'm sincerely inspired. And I just, all that are on this call, reach out to those who don't know, take a photo or have something on you in reference to Marcus Garvey and plant a seed. And as the seed grows, we will grow. That's all I wanted to say, race first. And thank you all for being a part of this legacy with me.
Thank you, Lady President. That is our Lady President of our Baltimore Division. So blessed to have her. She's a strong sister, and she's definitely uplifted our division. And as you know, in the household as well as in our division, no division can be whole without a strong male president and female president. So thank you again, Lady Prez.
You want me to take care of this one, Brother Everett?
Go ahead. Thank you, Brother John.
I want to acknowledge we got one of our dignitaries in the building, brother in the UNIA, Brother Moyama. Brother Moyama, you there?
Yes, sir. Let me see if I can get this camera off. Here we go. Yes, sir. Great Garvey Day.
Great Garvey Day, brother.
Yeah. This I just wanted to say a few words if I can have a minute or two. Grateful for all the contributions and the spirit and love shown by all the Garveyites. My greetings and full respect to all the members, the officers, Honorable President General Michael Duncan. And I just wanted to talk about this significant moment because I, along with many others, have been fighting laboring in the vineyards to make this day happen. This day is not the end all of our life's journey to have the most honorable Marcus Garvey vindicated, but it's a process on the road to that vindication and celebration of the greatest name our lips can frame, the greatest leader to ever grace our race or walk the third rock from the sun, bar none. And when we celebrate this occasion, we also got to acknowledge that it offers a new talking point for the public who are being made aware of this departing and the legacy and want to know what, the criminal case, the criminally unjust case of his criminal conviction was all about in the first place. So it kind of gives us an opportunity to mobilize public sentiment as well. So we should take full advantage of that because, as Mr. Garvey himself said, the best way to exonerate or vindicate him is to promote his ideals and to fulfill the vision and carry on the program and plan that he put in motion. So this is a day of celebration. We are grateful for the statement, the admission that the government was unjust and that he was innocent of all these bogus charges that were placed on him. But again, it's not the end all of the goal. We want atonement. We don't want just an acknowledgement of their era. Even though that is significant, we do want atonement. But he is one of the elders in the UNIA Pittsburgh Division many moons ago wrote a book, Why I'm Dissatisfied. He once said that always be grateful, but never be satisfied. Because satisfaction leads to stagnation. The stagnation leads to deterioration. Deterioration leads to death. So we are grateful for whatever moves we make in progress toward our end goal, but never satisfied. And so I'm grateful that the actions of all the legal firms, the law firm of Aiken Gump, the honorable attorney and law professor Justin Hansford, Congressional Black Caucus, many people all over the world, Jamaican ambassadors, the Jamaican American Association, many people fought long and hard just to get this little bit of a concession, to make the bully at least admit that he made a mistake and it wasn't Mr. Garvey's mistake. And even though, that's not our end goal, it is something that we should be celebrating and significant because, we want to make sure that others, as well as ourselves, honor the legacy of Marcus Garvey. And those of us who understand the history of the movement and the history of the exoneration campaign to clear his name and to restore honor to dignity to his legacy, where it's been denounced by many enemies and haters and rival organizations, etc. This now gives us another weapon to put at our disposal so that we can deconstruct the lies and reconstruct truth at their own admission. So it's important to be acknowledged that. Now we know, of course, the government still is responsible for what they did. We know Kilroy ordered the assassination of Marcus Garvey, which nearly happened when he got shot in the head and leg in New York. We know that the FBI bureau chief, or the BI, I should say, bureau chief at the time, J. Edgar Hoover, was responsible for sabotaging the businesses and trying to publicly discredit Mr. Garvey through his counterintelligence program at that time, utilizing once again people like W.E.B. Du Bois of the NAACP, which we used to call nothing accomplished after considerable pretense. But all these kind of rival organizations, just like the judge, you mentioned earlier, President Hargrove, was also a board member of the NAACP and should have recused himself and were, adversarial to Mr. Garvey during the court case. But we know all, or many of us know all of that happened, the lies and the hypocrisy. Yet they still found some kind of way to discredit him and decentralize the movement and wrongfully convict and sentence and exile and deport and deny him ever returning to the United States. So we know all that. So they are not the government is not absolved of their guilt, and us getting this concession from them doesn't marginalize the merit of Mr. Garvey's martyrdom or invalidate the value of his valor. So I just want to make sure that's stated clear too. This doesn't mean that all things are squared and we good, because we still have other ways of continuing to fight to exonerate legally. possibly, but also, there's other things that can be done to make sure we let the public know and continue to let them know that, we're going to demand they put some respect on Mr. Garvey's name. The same way any other community around the world would do the same. If you go around talking about Prophet Muhammad with a nasty attitude, you're going to get a visit at your doorstep. If the Muslims don't burn your country to the ground. If you go around talking about the Jews and disrespecting and being anti-Semitic, they're going to make sure they destroy you with every ounce of, fiber in their being. So we don't need to be so tolerant when people disrespect our leader. We need to make them show some respect to our leader and honor him the way we do. And if, we can just, put a little more respect on that name, I'm happy. I'm not satisfied, but I am happy. So I just wanted to point that out. And I guess later it's going to go to Dr. We're going to have a discussion on Dr. King.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to, we mentioned my gratitude that, I know Bob Marley say, how long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Well, we ain't standing aside, and we jumping right in the front of them, and we won't let them kill him nor character assassinate him long after he's dead. And when it's, they feel it's safe, now they want to offer a pardon. Well, we appreciate the pardon, but yeah, we definitely looking for a whole lot more as well. But we do appreciate what we, this decisive victory that we forced and pressured them to after 100 years in the trenches. So it's a great day for the Garvey family and a great day for Garveyites everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, good brother. I appreciate you. Brother Cam Hopkins. I think that's Brother Cam.
I think that's not Cam Howard.
Oh, Cam Howard.
Is that the from
because we got a Cam Hopkins.
And Cobra Cam Howard.
Brother Cam Howard or Cam Hopkins? I see your hand is up.
Maybe I was reading wrong.
You might be right. Because I texted my Cam, he didn't answer.
Well, Cam, he dropped his hand. It looked like
I had dropped because I called him. But Brother Cam, can you unmute? I hit you that give you
might be Cam Hopkins. I thought I saw reparations in his
yeah, you might be right. I was just guessing.
Well, Cam, you there? You on mute?
Y'all brothers talking to me?
There I am. All right, peace, brothers.
Peace.
Race first, Garveyites.
Yeah,
just want to make a couple of quick comments. I totally appreciate the comments by the President General that exoneration is truly what we desire, and we as the people as Garveyites going to have to exonerate the Honorable Marcus and Josiah Garvey ourselves. And also appreciate Brother Shaka Barak. This is an historic day because, Marcus Garvey's name is in newspapers all around the world, and white and oppressive newspapers all around the world, and Garveyites all around the world have an opportunity to raise up the name of the Honorable Marcus Garvey in a way that we weren't able prior to this pardon. And so I think this is a great historical day. I also want to raise up the fact that, we know about one of the great Garveyite intellectuals in the name of Tony Martin, who gave us the book Race First. But I also want to lift up, because this is a time, another Garveyite intellectual that we should be bringing forth to the table, because this is the time for us to actually reignite, as President General stated, reignite the UNIA. One of the greatest Garveyite intellectuals that we can utilize today is Dr. Amos Wilson. Dr. Amos Wilson stated that one of his first acts at attempting to write professionally was a play on Marcus Garvey. And his book, African-Centered Consciousness versus New World Order, Garveyism in the Age of Globalism, is a 21st century testament to the fact that Garveyism is still our answer if we want to defeat white supremacy in this that's has a global hold on African people. And so I think that this is an opportune time for us to really begin to reignite the teachings of Honorable Marcus Garvey, and do so by utilizing some of the great African intellectuals who are Garveyites and who have prepared materials for us to utilize in that fashion. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank all the organizers who brought this together. Peace.
Good brother. Brother Ankh, you up next, brother Ankh, and then President
Sister
Lorraine. Oh, sister.
And sister
Quet. Got you. Okay, sorry about that, my queen. And then President Lorraine, and then Brother Macy's.
Unmute. Black Power, race first. Today is a good day to be a Garveyite, to be a member of the UNIA. Thank everyone. Brother Everett, we're supposed to be coming up there to do some things with the HBCUs.
Oh, that was you calling me?
Yeah, because with Afro-Descendant Nation, we're doing like a tour going to HBCUs, and then when we come in town, because we're going to come to Baltimore to go to Coppin, and we want to get together and have lunch, intertwine, and then we have like a whole list of universities we're going to. I'm going to read something by Anthony Broader. It says, your philosophy determines your thought pattern. Your thought pattern determines your attitude. Your attitude determines your behavior pattern, and your behavior pattern determines your actions. Right? And one of the things that I want everybody to know, yesterday in Sunday school, the Moorish Science Temple of America had a meeting, but guess what they're using as far as the format when they're talking about economy? It comes from the message of to the people from the course of African philosophy, lesson 10, economy. So yesterday in Sunday school, they read that whole chapter, and that's the format they're going to utilize as far as what they're going to do in the Moorish Science Temple to also grow. So Marcus Garvey, he had his foot in everything. Not only then, but today as well. Right? So race first, Black Power. And like I said, I feel very appreciative of this day. It's a good day to be a Black person. Well, every day is a good day to be a Black person, but but this is monumental. All right, race first.
Race first, my queen, and text me because I work weird schedules, and I'm in a lot of meetings. But text me.
We're not coming up there until May. It's not until May. We're gonna start one of the tours. We have a whole list. So one of the tours is going to be Baltimore Coppin University, and it's not until May.
Got you.
All right, Black Power and race first.
Race first. All right, President Lorraine, you're up.
Race first, brothers and sisters. Race first.
Race first.
Once again, I am very grateful, Brother Everett, for you all pulling this together. It's a wonderful day. I also want to thank the first person that notified me and Charles that Marcus Garvey had received a pardon from President Biden was Brother Shaka. And I got that Sunday while I was at the mosque with another sister. Thank you for that, Brother Shaka. I really appreciate it. And it was funny because after that, I got a ton of emails and texts of the same manner. So it's wonderful to know about this. Second, I would like to say that I am so appreciative of Brother, James Wilson.
Yes.
Your books are wonderful. That is so great. And I would just like to say that we want to order some of your books. So I copied down your email address and whatnot. I would like to, if you could send me a call, or I'll ask for your phone number offline, and if you could put it in the chat, I would like to get in touch with you so I can so we can talk further about that. Which brings me into focus that we are having our 8th annual Know Thyself Book Fair and Authors Forum at Thurgood Marshall Center, honoring the Black History Month, and we're kicking it off. We always have it on the first Saturday in February, and the first Saturday in February happens to be the 1st. So we're starting the entire month off with our 8th annual Know Thyself Book Fair and Authors Forum. So we would love to have the books there. We are also honoring the 2 bookstores in the DMV. For those of you who don't know what DMV means, it means the District, Maryland, and Virginia area that we are in. So we're honoring Sankofa Bookstore, which is in Northwest Washington, D.C., as well as Everyone's Place, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, as well as Black Classic Press, and the publisher is Paul Coates. So we are honoring those 2 bookstores as well as Paul Coates on that day. So if you all can come out, it's going to be from 11 to 7, and it'll be at Thurgood Marshall Center. The address is 1816 12th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20009. And then finally, I would like to say on a personal tip that I have a cousin. I don't know if any of you all have heard of Bernard Stanley Hoyes. He is my cousin, and he's the one that painted the original painting of Marcus Garvey in the chair from the photograph, sitting in the vehicle in a parade, and he was in full brigade. If any of you all had seen it for years, and it's still, as far as I know, in the Schoenberg Library, and it used to be right at the entrance of the Schoenberg Library, a full picture of Marcus Garvey. My husband Charles and I went there to the Schoenberg Library one year. I know it's before COVID. COVID has thrown me off in terms of dates and times. But anyhow, we had an opportunity to see the original. We have a copy of the poster that my uncle Benny's, we call him Benny in my family, that Bernard had given him, and he gave it to me. So we have it in our house. And what's interesting about that is that our president, our former president of Division 330, Brother Jackson Bay, when he came over to the house for a meeting, it was back in the 90s. I can't remember what year, and he saw the poster. He was too enthralled with the fact that we had the poster then of Marcus Garvey, not the big poster, but the poster then of Marcus Garvey. So he was very happy and pleased to see that. So, like I said, if you all can come out to our Know Thyself Book Fair, please do. We feature only African people who have written books. And we've had young authors as young as 6 years old, all the way up until folks in their 80s. So please come out. Tony Browder will be there. Chantella Sherman will be there. And then Kichi Taifa will be there. And those are people, just to name a few. Our own Imamu will be there. He has written a book, and with the author and publisher and founders of Black Sea Calendars, which is they're in their 48th year of publishing the calendar. So I'm just saying that, all of these things, we're very happy, and we started this because Marcus Garvey emphasized reading and reading of books. So I am complete, and it's so nice to have this event. Thank you very much, Everett and Oya and John and the rest of you. Thank you.
Yes, can you put that information in the chat?
I certainly will.
That's up book club. It's phenomenal. I know a couple of us went maybe 2 years back, and the authors read briefly a snippet of the books, and it's just great to promote, You know, we have to promote this. Like Marcus Garvey said, you should be reading a couple hours a day, I believe. So we got to really step up. 4 hours a day, yeah. So we really got to step our game up and start pushing our aims and objectives and our agendas.
At least 4 hours a day.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We start out with, we know how busy people are, so we start out with saying, please read 1 hour a day, you know, a book, not necessarily newspapers and things like that, but if they could read a book, you know, 1 hour a day, and we'll work folks up to 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Back on to you, Brother John.
Thank you, Brother Everett. President General, I see you came off mute.
Oh, I forgot about Brother Macias. I'm sorry.
Brother Macias. Brother Macias, first Vice President.
Race first, family. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, President General, our executive officers on the call, presidents. Greetings, everyone. Race first. I just wanted to say, I think I was probably, probably 25, 26, maybe 27 when I first heard about Marcus Garvey. And I think that's important for us to understand the climate of which he is known throughout the United States. He's not taught in schools, and of course it's purposeful. The knowledge of him, who he was, his great works, we have to understand what the effect that it could do on our people. And of course, this is what they know. So a lot of us can talk about the press or negative press of him even being incarcerated, but even more a negative press is no press at all. Them not being able to hear about him at all is one of the greatest oppressive acts that could be done so for me, this moment in time creates an opportunity for propaganda, creates an opportunity for conversations. It creates an opportunity for us to be able to approach the youth when they hear about, hey, this guy Biden pardoned, who is he? Who is Marcus Garvey? Why was he pardoned on the last day? We're able to now have these conversations. It opens up a gateway, a door for this opportunity. So if although we may not have reached the end goal, we definitely have to take the opportunity to be able to create the propaganda around this moment and allow those who have not heard of this great works to give them an opportunity to experience the inspiration that we have that has caused us all to take up the mantle and follow this great leader. So in that, I'm thankful, and race first, family. Oh, and I want to say one last thing. I did a poll October 21st, 2021 on my Instagram. I just found it right before, and I put up a picture of Marcus Garvey with his name at the top, and the poll said, do you know this ancestor? It was a 60-40 split from people who answered. 40% of our people did not know who he was. So I wasn't the only one who heard about him at such a late stage in life, and I'm happy that hopefully this will be an opportunity to create more conversations. Thanks,
President. Excellent. Sister Zafia and Queen Lorene, I saw your hand was up. Looks like you dropped it down. But we'll run to Sister Zafia.
Yeah, I have one more thing to say.
Oh, sorry. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Sister Zafia, and then Queen Lorene will come back to you.
Okay, thank you. One love, everyone. I am so happy to be here with everyone else, all of us who have gained so much from the teachings of Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, his life, his legacy, his organization. And just wanted to share my excitement. And, you know, I worked with his younger son, Dr. Julius Garvey, in 2016 to encourage outgoing President Obama to pardon his father, and got a chance to meet and get involved then. And so it just feels it's really satisfying and poetic. Even though pardon is not where we stop, it's a starting point. And I agree with everyone. I personally, as an educator, and an educator who believes in bringing in things happening in our everyday lives to teaching ourselves and our children, this is definitely a headline that we could bring in to talk about, to start the conversation, you know, and to spread the word about Brother Garvey's honorable life and legacy. And I also wanted to share that along these lines, as many know, I've notified, I don't know if people remember, but my calling is to start an academy around, especially around the African Communities League side of things, and what inspired Brother Garvey to add that component, and then what is there in the African communities, our legacy, our community legacy that harkens to unity already, you know, ancient Mali, Ghana, etc. So this coming Saturday, that being said, there'll be a discussion about Sheikh Anta Diop and his 6 degrees of separation from the likes of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John Henry Clark, and of course the Honorable Marcus Garvey. So I put my information in the chat. Please text if you'd like more information. I'll also put my email, and we'll be starting this kind of scholarly journey. I was a Kwanzaa child growing up from birth. The middle name I have posted is my birth name. It's an Afrocentric name, Swahili, means true. And although I go by Zafia, which is my spiritual name, Zafia Bey, but I also hold to my given name for that reason. And I went my whole childhood, right, you know, waving the red, black, and green flag, but having no idea that it ultimately rooted in Brother Garvey's movement. And so just grateful to have everything tied together and seeing the bigger picture of what I grew up in. So again, please feel free to contact me if you're interested in this talk, connecting to Sheikh Anta Diop, the great Egyptologist, quote unquote, who paved a totally different direction, inspired by that think for self, do for self message, that ancient Egypt was not what the European scholars were saying it was, and that it actually rooted in the South. And so anyone who doesn't know who Sheikh Anta Diop is and how he connects to the bigger picture, we'll be discussing that this coming Saturday, inspired by the principle of Kujichagulia, self-determination. Thank you. One love.
Thank you, Sister Zafia. One love. Queen Lorraine, President Queen Lorraine.
Yes, I forgot to add, I hope that we don't stop at the pardon. I have to agree with Mormon that, you know, pardon is good, and I'm happy but not satisfied, because it reminds me of when we asked for desegregation and instead we got integration. So I'm hoping that we asking for exoneration means that we're only going to get a pardon, and we still need to push for exoneration, because as I was told by someone, he didn't do anything wrong, so he should have been exonerated.
Ashe.
Okay, one other thing. Charles is on the line, and Brother Charles would like to speak too.
Greetings, Brother Charles.
All right, African people. It is good to hear all these good voices and say hello to everybody. President General, hello to you as well. And I know you're very happy to be in charge at this point in time when Honorable Marcus Garvey is being honored.
Greetings, Brother Charles. Greetings, Brother Charles, and much love to you, brother. Thank you.
Same back to you. I love all of you all, and I hope everybody's having a good time today, because this is a great celebration for us and a good time for the UNIA-ACL to get together and move forward. So we're on it. Thank you.
There's no stopping us now. We're on the move.
Yes, that's my sentiments as well. You know, it's just an opportunity. It's a spark, you know, as propaganda. So propaganda is being done for us right now. As has been said, newspapers around the world are covering the name Marcus Garvey based on this pardon. So the question comes back to us. in positions of leadership, how we will capitalize. So here, District 5, Atlanta, how will we capitalize? DC, how will we capitalize? Baltimore, how will we capitalize? Philadelphia, Chicago, New York. What will be the impact and effect that we can create within the UNIA this year, this historic year in which this news was announced? That's the question that's in my mind.
Brother Queen Kamar is here.
Queen Kamar, welcome. Greetings.
Hey, greetings, Mama.
Greetings.
Hold on. Stop. This is President General, my dear love, Queen Kamar. How are you?
Excellent. Now that I hear your voice and had an opportunity to spend time with you this morning.
Thank you, sister. It's my blessing, sister. Thank you.
Thank you. But I want to thank the organizers, John Hargrove and Everett Winchester, along with my husband, Shaka Barak, and our president here in Chicago for 429, and his esteemed wife, Sister Georgia Banks. It is an honor to soldier with all of you. And for all of you who are on, it's too many to name one by one, but I certainly have enjoyed and learned from this eye-opener meeting this morning. My heart goes out to our organization. I thank you for everyone who contributed, for the history that represents our past, for the pardon that represents our present, and for our President General who represents our future. Much love to all of you, and again to our President General, the Honorable Michael Duncan. Much love and continued success. Thank you.
Love you, sister. Love you, sister.
Thank you, Queen Kamar. Brother Everett,
yes, I'm here. What's up?
I put a question in the chat. I know your thoughts on how to proceed with the program. We're approaching 2 hours.
Yeah, we could do that if you would like.
President General, I was asking Minister of Information if it was okay to play the video that you released yesterday, your announcement on the official announcement on regards to the pardon.
Of course. Thank you, Brother John. And before you play, Brother John, Brother Everett, Brother Shaka, Brother Clyde, everyone who was involved in this, this is the purpose of the pardon. The success of the pardon is to get us talking about this. And we have to make sure we use this, as we said, to exonerate the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. But what we have to do, we have to teach our people. We have to let them understand, not only understand, know exactly what a pardon means. And to let them know that Marcus Garvey is forgiven for the crime they said he committed. But remember, Mr. Garvey's name is still on the books as a criminal. What we would like to do eventually is remove Mr. Garvey's name from the books of history as a criminal. That's what we would like to do. And the key thing, the first thing, is to let people know exactly what does this pardon mean, because I think some people don't know, and it's our job to let them know. But to imagine Jesus Christ was listed as a criminal. What do you think the Christians will do? As the brother said, imagine if Muhammad was listed as a criminal. So again, we have to push for this. But as I said, brothers and sisters, the greatest thing is to commit more to the UNIA. and rise Mr. Garvey up. Thank you, brothers and sisters. One God, one aim, one destiny. Brother John.
Brother John,
Yes,
Shaka,
President General.
and Everett.
Yes, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Crown Prince Cornelius Coroma. I've had my fists up for some time. I just wanted to intervene. I don't know if y'all saw my name or not, but I just wanted to stay in the background and listen to everyone speak on their presentation to this chat. My grandfather was part of a royal family from Liberia. And Brother Garvey was in attendance in this household. My predecessor, whom I have the portfolio of our land in Liberia connecting Guinea and Sierra Leone, our portfolio consists of 700 miles of land. And recognizing this pardon yesterday, it took me back into my historical journey and portfolio that the land that Marcus Garvey was promised by the Barclay Group, which my predecessor was a part of, but he was sent to Germany as a consul general.
Okay.
Mamadou Massaquoi. So, with that said, I was putting this puzzle together yesterday, and the criminal acts that J. Hoover and the U.S. government put together for these fraudulent charges, it took me back to that they trumped them charges up to receive Firestone on Liberia's property, which is my family's property, in which my family dealt with the American Colonization Society along with the British and the French and the other governments that led up to the Berlin Conference of 1884, 1885. So, in receiving this great news yesterday, it put me in the frame of mind that it's time to go at the U.S. government, as the gentleman said, for those reparations. Like I said, I have the original deeds to the territories of Liberia and the surrounding other adjacent countries. And it's time to sit down with the current administration, and as we are talking about now, to get that exoneration. And myself, my family, my grandfather left Liberia in 1937 and never went back because of this political quagmire with the Barclay administration. I'll throw the name out there, and even in the chat, I'll throw it in the chat. Mamadou Massaquoi. Y'all could research him and the relationship that he had with Marcus Garvey. And, that was a big story of my grandfather telling his children and grandchildren here in Baltimore that, he was a little adolescent watching Marcus Garvey in the household of the Massaquois, in which my family was given a crown by Queen Victoria in 1840. This crown is still in the West African region. Of course, politics has dominated the chieftaincy and the kingship of my family's country. So I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, and Brother Everett, I will reach out to you and further talk to you about that. Last week, I've written President Biden for an executive order for a creation that he has made with the U.S. Department of State. And I believe it's the PACA, Presidential Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement. Out of that letter, this pardon is acceptable. I acknowledge that it's acceptable. Is a start. Is a start. It wasn't what I was seeking, but it was a start in receiving this great news, because it sat me down and took me back into my workings and like, wow, Garvey was in my family household. He talked to my predecessors. They had dealings going on, and my predecessor was going to run for the presidency of Liberia, but again, the U.S. government wanted himself, like Garvey, out of the picture. So they dismantled their image. So my family went through some challenges in Liberia, as well as Marcus Garvey going through his in America. So yeah, I'm gonna end with that. I'm gonna shoot that name Mamadou Massacourt in the chat so individuals can internet it, Google it, and see where he stood in Marcus Garvey's plan for the improvement of the Black Negro.
Thank you, good brother. Put your information in the chat as well, in case somebody wants to reach out to
Brother,
you.
Brother Everett.
Yes,
Brother
President General, go ahead.
Before Brother John play that video, I want to agree with the brother, and I want to comment also to let people know ultimately what an exoneration would mean for us. Take for Liberia, for instance, the brother just spoke about Liberia. You know, Mr. Garvey had sent pioneers to Liberia, and Mr.
Yes.
Garvey had promised a $5 million loan to Liberia, which he gave them $250,000 at that point. Now that's $250 million that would worth today. We cannot go after these people, be it in Liberia, be it in the United States, be it in Jamaica, for all our assets that were stolen until Mr. Garvey is exonerated, because Liberia held on to that $250,000. Liberia held on to the shipload of supplies and equipment that Marcus Garvey sent with the pioneers. So again, ultimately, when we get these exoneration, we will see the UNIA being given back. Well, it's not going to be given back. We're going to go back and demand what was wrongfully taken from the UNIA. But again, we cannot do these things until we have proven that Mr. Garvey was totally innocent and he's totally cleared and exonerated. So, brother, thank you for the information on Liberia.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yes.
Brother Everett, I think Sister Georgia had her hand up.
Yes, go ahead, Sister Georgia. Race first, Lady President.
Sister Georgia, you still there? Sister Georgia, you're on mute if you're trying to speak. Lady President, Georgia. Okay. I guess we'll come
Am
back.
I on mute yet? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we got you now.
Oh my goodness. Seems like I was hitting every button on here. I'm just so excited. Let me just say something really quick, because I know we're moving. Oh my God. Okay. I just wanted to say that I'm at an all-time high, mentally, spiritually, and some of us emotionally. And I just want to thank you, Brother Shaka. When you sent me the news, I was in the middle of something. I just literally started hollering when I received the news. And then, of course, it started coming on television. So I just wanted to say that while my emotions are running high, I was started looking at all these photos and images from when our last convention. And I was looking at all the pictures and the marches, and I'm looking at us at the prison, the whole group of us. I see Brother Everett with his fist up here. I am looking at the flags. I'm just so full and so excited. So after going through some of these photos and just kind of settling and taking it all in, and some of the questions that you all have asked, like where do we go from here and things like that. I know one of the things that our divisions was collaborating with to get the red, black, and green to be flown individually at the museum, and we're right in the middle of accomplishing that. So that was right off of the heels of that happening. And so I just think we have a turbo boost for all of the upcoming programs and events that we've been planning and doing, and it's just exciting. So as I wrap up, just saying to all of you, we are a true representative of one God, one aim, one destiny. We've been pushing and hoping and moving and stretching and working and fighting, and we're here. And I know the next time I sing the anthem, I probably will lose my mind because the words are like blinking like a neon sign. Thank you all so much for just letting me make a comment. I just love you all. And Sister Kamar, I can't wait to see you so I can get a big hug. Thank you. Thank you.
Sister Georgia,
okay,
did you
Brother
say?
Clyde, I'll see you soon. No, we got a lot on our plate today, but thank you. I just wanted to chime in.
Race first, Sister Georgia.
Race first, Sister Georgia.
Thank you.
Next up was Tamiko, MPACC. Tomiko.
Peace and blessings, Sister Tamiko. With the Maryland Pan-African Cooperative Coalition with Brother Cliff here in Bmore. Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see the being held there. I thought it was good. And also I thought when they talked about pardon, I agree with the brother was saying earlier. I'm like, these black politicians can't get nothing right. It should be exoneration and not pardon. But then why do you even feel the need to go and ask the system of white supremacy? I mean,
of course,
we never criminalized Marcus Garvey. We are the parent people, to go and ask them for anything, and I'm a culture anthropologist. I run a prison organization, national, across the nation, at the national and the international human rights level. So that is white people still won't give total innocence.
Of course.
Cannot help themselves. Cannot help themselves. What Marcus Garvey did has never been done before. On a plane, the mass level. And so I think it's good. I heard a little bit, I joined early, I had to get off. I lost the connection. Somebody was saying how they didn't know about Marcus Garvey. And I think it's good when this comes up where she shows we have to do some work, to let the next generations know who Marcus Garvey was, the amount of work action he put into it. Because those politicians, they think they did some work. Y'all ain't do no work. People in our communities, in a sense, we need things. We need tangibles, housing, jobs, still food, still basics. Africans and Americans across the diaspora are still trying to fight for. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. And so I think Marcus Garvey being talked about today is a reevaluation for us of where we are and where we are not. And it's very important. And I saw somebody on Facebook saying President Biden will go down in history. I'm like, oh my God, people delusional. He'll go down. For what? What did he do? You see, this is where some of us are. It's like mentally, Stockholm syndrome. You're not aware of where you are and what's supposed to be done. So I love the UNIA that you are still here. I know we have much work to do, but I know together now, and I know the next 4 years, maybe it will push us to each other. This is what Marcus Garvey is about, unity. It will force us to be together and work together and to go after what is owed us legally in the courts, nationally and internationally. Because a crime has been committed and things are to be owed to Africans. If they don't give it, we still gonna get it anyway. And I think that's the point. So I think y'all allow me to take up some space. Hi, Mama Earth. I always gotta say hi to Mama Earth, one of my colleagues. And
peace, sister, peace.
Yeah, with your powerful self. But thank y'all so much, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. It should be total blackout for us, and going to remind them what Marcus Garvey work really should look like. So thank y'all so much. Peace and blessings to everybody.
Sister, we have to exonerate him. The
Exactly.
people that convict him
Exactly.
they will never exonerate him. We have
Exactly.
to. And we just continue with the works of the Honorable Marcus Garvey every day in our schools, in our home, in our community. Everywhere we go, we continue to promote Marcus Garvey. We have to exonerate him. Thank you, sister. Well said.
Okay, I see Sister Choti. I hope I pronounced your name right. Sorry, pronounce your name for me.
Akoti.
Akoti. Race first, my queen, race first.
Race first, Black Power. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. I want to say all praises to the Most High to see all you beautiful Black people on this podcast, on this stream right now. I want to say all praises to all the elders here on the Zoom call. Thank you so much for your continued endurance and strength. Yes, to be honest with you, brothers and sisters, when I first heard the news, I was like, okay, so let's free all the political prisoners right now. Yes,
exactly. You're gonna do something. Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
So that was my first initial reaction, but after listening to you all and explaining to me or allowing me to see the power of the UNIA, this is beautiful. And so I'm saying, yes, this is a glorious day that we can have take this opportunity from an action from the oppressor to come together in unity. If it takes that to bring us together, I think that we should take this moment and continue moving forward. I am Akoti Singleton, Chief of Staff to the President of the Afro-Descendant Nation, Dr. Akila Mukaram. And I just want to say that it is imperative that all of our different organizations that are working towards self-determination and reparations come together, do collaborations on every front. I just am in awe of the UNIA. I visited the website. I have heard of the UNIA, but never really studied it. And I love the organization. I've already went online and said, hey, how can I join? How can I apply to become a member? And I also encouraged the members of the Afro-Descendant Nation, if they're not members of the UNIA, to also join the UNIA. As far as the Afro-Descendant Nation, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Aket. Thank you so much for sending me this invite, and this is wonderful.
I'm halfway ready. I'm not quite ready.
Okay, so just want to say that for all of you who are not familiar with the Afro-Descendant Nation, we are an organization that was started under the guidance of the Honorable Salis Muhammad of the Lost Foundation of Islam. And this Afro-Descendant Nation that has been erected is in the process of building, is looking for all of you all to join and help us grow our government. We need all hands on deck to help us build a nation where we are sovereign, where we can exercise our right to self-determination, and that when we can acquire some land in collectivity all across the United States, and then from there we can achieve our own reparations without having to ask anyone for it. In the words of my dear brother Ramzu, he always says that you don't have to ask someone for the right to self-determination. You just have to exercise your right to self-determination. So with the UNIA and its platform, I think that is a great foundation and starting block, because you all have been in existence for so long. The history is rich, and I appreciate each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity. I think that there is room for collaboration, and the Afro-Descendant Nation is here and willing to collaborate on any effort that's going to be empowering to our people. Black economic empowerment, power economics for Black people, self-determination, and reparations is the name of the game for 2025. And with that, I want to say race first, Black power, and free the land.
Sister, which state are you in?
The Afro-Descendant Nation headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia. But
Okay.
we have representatives all across the United States and
No,
also in Brazil.
I was trying to figure out to see which one of our presidents would contact you for membership. So trying to figure out directly where you are, where you're located, so we could have the right president reach out to you.
Sounds like my region, President General.
Oh, very good, very good. So, brother, make sure you get the sister's information and just reach out to her because she said she's ready to be a member. Thank you so very much, sister.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to put the Afro-Descendant Nations website in the chat, and then also I'll put my email in the chat as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity, my friends.
Thank you, sister. Look forward to speaking with you. Brother Everett, who's up next? I didn't see who was it. Sister Beverly, were you? My apologies if I get the order out.
No, you good, Brother John. My
I
fault.
wasn't next.
Do you know who was before you, Sister Beverly?
Maybe Dr. Kuda?
Yeah, I think Dr.
Okay.
And then I think Sister Beverly and then Leo Hassan.
All right. Dr. Kuda, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you so much, President John and
Dr.
President.
Kuda, one moment, briefly. And once we do get through comments, we do have the President General's message on standby. Dr. Kuda, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who spoke. Yes, I never slept. I've been up all night globe-trotting on my phone. So thank you to everyone for putting this together. And I just want to share a little poem that I just came up with. Legacy of Redemption. Oh, Garvey's voice, a thunderous call for dignity and pride for all. Through trials deep and shadows vast, his dream of freedom held steadfast. A pardon whispers, soft and near, mercy's balm to quell the fear. Yet exoneration speaks more bold, a truth reclaimed, a story told. Garvey's spirit still alight, injustice challenged, wrongs made right. A legacy of strength and fight for every soul denied their right. Grace and truth in tandem sing to heal the wounds that justice brings. From chains to blame to freedom's sky, Garvey's dream will never die. Thank you so much. Grace first, everybody.
Grace first.
Grace first. Thank you, Dr. Kuda. Excellent poem.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Sister Beverly.
Greetings, race first.
Is it Lady President, Sister Beverly?
The Lady President, 407.
407,
Detroit in the house.
Detroit is in the house. My president is on the line.
Greetings.
I'm just trying to contain myself because it is a great Garvey Day. To that end, we have to take advantage of this opportunity. We cannot drop the ball. We would clarify, and I appreciate President General because when we were in HEC, you encouraged me. You said you would not necessarily stand in the way of persons who desire to carry forward. And so I am just so appreciative of you for taking that stance. And I understand where you are today and where we should be unified behind where you are saying.
Thank you, sister.
But again, it is a great Garvey Day.
Of course.
I can't wait for tomorrow when our students who go to the Marcus Garvey Public School Academy walk through those doors tomorrow. What would they feel like? And so our division will be, again, keeping our hands on our young people to get them to understand the greatness of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I just can't wait. This is awesome. We will move forward. This is a chance to grow our divisions to the greatness that it was under the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. And so we can do that. We can feel the void that's happening in our communities because we have the Black Print, President Duncan.
Say it, speak it, sister.
We got, I can't wait. And I know my president he needs to weigh in, but Detroit is just so central to a lot of Black power. But we have been on hold to a degree as it relates to the UNIA because of the stain that the government has placed on his name. And so the character assassination, hey, it's our opportunity to go forward and to clarify and exonerate him ourselves. As you said, we must do that. Race first.
Well said, sister. Well said.
Race first.
First Lady President. Next, Brother Leo. Leo, you there? Your hand went down.
Yeah, I had put him down because you had called him, Brother John.
Thank you. Brother Leo, you're on mute. What's up, brother? I really do. Leo Hassan, you there? Okay. We're going to keep it moving.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Listen, thank you all so much for allowing me to be a part of this chat. And I want to thank the organizers. I think it's very, very special what we are doing right now. I am coming to you from Panama City, Panama.
Oh, man.
Much love, brother.
Much love.
Yes, I've been living here in Panama now just over a year. And my family, I was actually born into the Garvey movement. My grandparents were Garveyites when they were very young. Many of you already know that so much the power of the Garvey movement was the Black churches in Harlem, in Brooklyn, in Queens, and many of the members of these Black churches were from the Caribbean, were from Jamaica, Antigua, St. Kitts, St. Croix, and my family is from St. Kitts and also Antigua. So anyway, I think it's so important for this young generation to understand the passion and the hard work that the Garvey movement has put into the liberation of our people. And I want to make it a point to see to it that the young folks out here in Panama are aware of how powerful the movement of organizing and being conscious of our history is. Because as you already know, they're coming after Panama. You know, they're coming after the canal. That's what they're talking about. But keep in mind, it's really a whole lot of talk, and the power of organizing will resist any attempts to come after this canal, just like the folks in Canada and the folks in other parts of Mexico. You know, this talk about we're gonna come and take this over again. You know, let's allow that to be just talk, because the power of resistance can overwhelm any obstacles. So I'm on my way back to Texas. I had been living in Texas for many years. I'm going back to Texas just for the month of February for Black History Month. I want to make sure that the youngsters, I'm a storyteller, and I want to make sure that my stories are going to be about history, the African drums, and the power of spoken word, to see to it that our history is going to be cherished, it's going to expand, it's going to be powerful, because history and storytelling, that's going to be the key to our liberation. So thank you all for doing what you're doing. I want to remain a member of the UNIA. So I'm going to chime on to all the necessary information. And I'm looking forward to building a UNIA movement here in Panama City and also in Colón. Colón that's Black Caribbean Panama, you know. So the power of freedom is within all of us. So let it allow to manifest, and most important, be sure to share our history and our passion for our liberation with the youngsters. Ashe?
Brother, before you go, you're in Panama. I visited Panama a few years ago, and I had to visit Cologne. I had to visit Cologne because of the significant influence Cologne had on the UNIA and Marcus Garvey.
Brother, absolutely.
I would love to visit Cologne again, but when I visit again, I would like to have a forum of African people who I could speak to and present to in creating a UNIA division in Cologne. I'm ready when you are. If you can organize 7 people there, I will get on the plane and I will come to Cologne. Just let me know, brother.
Sure. Cologne is less than an hour from Panama City. And as I said, this Cologne is where many of the descendants of the builders of the Panama Canal. Many of you may already know that the Panama Canal was built mostly on the blood, sweat, and tears and labor of Caribbean people from all over the Caribbean islands. And many of them just stayed in Panama after the canal was built. And
of course,
the majority of those folks, Black Panamanians, are in Cologne.
Brother, I'm ready to come. Brother Everett or Brother John, please ensure that we have the brother's contact information, because after the meeting, I want to reach out to the brother myself because I'm ready to go to Panama.
Brother Leo, if you could share your contact information in the chat, we will document that and make sure we share that with President General and the leadership of the UNIA.
No problem. We can make that happen. Ashe.
Ashe.
Please share that.
Brothers and sisters, if I may chime in again, this is Cornelius.
Brother Cornelius, one moment. We got to show some decorum. We've got some brothers and sisters with their hands up.
Okay.
You know how to put your hand up, Brother Cornelius?
I think I made.
Yeah, we got 3. I got you. We got 3 hands up, Brother Cornelius.
And then we go right to you.
Sister,
okay.
Sister Aquette, I think you had your hand up next.
Yes, I just want to say that I'm grateful that brothers and sisters are here and not watching Donald Duck inauguration. And it's not about gay Biden. You know what I'm saying? It's about our ancestors. It's about the hard work that our brothers and sisters have put in there. And not only as far as Marcus Garvey getting pardoned, this is also about our ancestors, right? This is about our ancestors, and it's also, like the sister said, other political prisoners that need to be out of jail, or the ones like Assata Shakur out there still running for her life, can't have any peace because of gay Edgar Hoover put those charges on her, right? And this is a time of celebration. Now, this is just a small battle, but mind you, the war is still on. Right? We may got a little victory right now, but it's not time to lay low and say, we're gonna rest. No, now it's time to keep pushing harder and harder and keep it moving, right? Because other things need to be done, right? Race first. And brothers and sisters, please do not forget to get the message to the people, the course of African philosophy. Race first, Black power.
Race first.
Black power. The greatest book ever written to me.
Hey, I confer, brother.
Sister Basima, Philadelphia.
Yes, give thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Okay,
give thanks. Yes, Sister Basima, for many of you who don't know me, out of Philadelphia, 4-term, 4th Assistant President General. While I have so many Garveyites on here just vibing and ready to take next steps and do what need to be done, I just want to invite you all out this year, April the 10th to the 13th, to our international headquarters as we have our HEC. We ask you all to join and be members, become members of the divisions. President General said, what state are you in? Let's find somebody to get that information from you. So for those of you that are serious and want to do the collaboration, I heard sisters speak in reference to Salas Muhammad, whom I know great, many of the ministers with throughout the Philadelphia area and within UNIA itself. but we certainly welcome you and all other brothers and sisters. Please come out and join us as we go forward to build the greatness of UNIA with the Black print that we have under the great leadership that we have with our esteemed President General and his team. So thank you, Brother John, and I hope that we have the opportunity to hear President General's program or statement that he had made when he had got back from Africa.
Sister Basim, I'm sorry, real quick, Brother John. Can you just for the people, can you say them dates again for the HEC and put it in the chat for me? Because that's very important.
Thank you very much, brother. I thought our Lady President would be here, but nevertheless, the work is being laid out, and so I'm able to share and ask for you all to participate with your presidents in your division. That date is April the 10th through the 13th, 2025, here in the city of Philadelphia. 1609 Cecil B. Moore. But I need not to do anything further than give you that date. Please put that on your calendar. Discuss it with the person who invited you to the meeting, or find the person that's closest to you in the division. Or I'm sure that someone will give you our information. Brother Everett, you're doing a great job. You're in touch with all these brothers and sisters, I'm sure, somehow, some way. So we give thanks. Again, April the 10th through the 13th here in the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashe.
I see President Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar, and then Brother Cornelius, and then we'll get ready for President General's message.
Got you. Go ahead, Brother Lamar.
Yeah.
I see that the fruits from this pardon is already bearing, and that we're coming together. It gives us a tool to reach, and a conversation, please, to open to people who may not have been familiar with Marcus Garvey. As somebody pointed out earlier, his name was now was put out throughout the globe as one of the last pardons done by the President Biden. And so what's significant to that is that we are in the process, as Sister Basima said about the international headquarters, we're in the process of restoring the headquarters, and it will take, this will help us raise the funds, particularly in buying a brick, and everybody buying a brick, and making it a movement to restore the last remaining headquarters, international headquarters as from the UNIA. So we are pleased. We learned from the Batwa that how you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. The so-called pygmy, which is a slur, the Batwa or Twa people.
Yeah, Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you, President Lamar, and thank you, Sister Basima, for bringing that energy back to the focus. How do we continue the work of Mr. Garvey, the legacy of Mr. Garvey, and the work of the UNIA? There's a lot to be done. We're just arguing for that work to be done through the Black print that Mr. Garvey left us, and that's the UNIA-ACL. Brother Cornelius, you have a comment, then we will open up for, we'll go to our video official message.
Yes. Some things I forgot to address or bring out to the opening of the panelists that we have here today. Are any one of the individuals on the panel familiar with the CARICOM Reparations Commission that has been born in Jamaica?
Yes. Yes, the Caribbean reparations movement. Yes, we are.
Right. Okay. I'm about to lay some of my family history down superiorly, as I have already done. My forefathers participated in the slave trade heavily. We have 8 treaties with the United Kingdom. These treaties were forever binding on the British Treasury forever. Now that brings me to decades later with the address of Martin Luther King stating that that day was going to come where the enslaved and the enslavers' descendants are going to be at the table and they're going to be able to speak about this. I've been in the courts with the government of Sierra Leone for 9 years now on a trust that was left from my grandfather, from his grandfather. And of course, you know, it's a shame to say corruption is taking its place. You know, my family, my uncle who would be overlord of these territories connecting Liberia and other adjacent countries, don't want to step out there. So he gave me the okay to go ahead and foot whatever it is that I'm seeking to do. And I'm like, you know, your father, he left this particular part of another country to come here, you know, for us to do what we got to do for the Black race. You know, I'm kind of disappointed in my family. It hurt.
Brother Cornelius, if you could bring it to about a minute.
Okay. So my thing is, okay, I'm trying to reach out. I've been reaching out to the CARICOM countries and letting them know, look, I have the documentation that y'all need to solve this reparations case, but somehow, somewhere, these particular countries don't want to let me in. So that's just a footing for the UNIA to make an approach to CARICOM, and maybe we all could sit down and talk about this and get this over, because it's over $180 trillion that they're going for, that the European and American governments ought to pay up, and, you know, bring this exoneration case up with the great Marcus Garvey. We can have some things going forward.
I say, brother, I know Brother John is trying to get us to a close. I certainly want to hear the President General, but I will be in touch with you because I have some of the same similar going on here in the United States and the Carolina areas. But nevertheless, same thing has been going on with all of us. They just been stealing and manipulating. So thank you for sharing it. That was heartfelt. Thank you.
Brother, a quick question. Excuse me, Sister Bessie, a quick question before you go. You mentioned, I'm not sure if I heard you right, but you had mentioned a statement about our forefather, the role they played in slavery. Did I hear you correct?
Yes, my great-great-grandfather, he was heavily involved with the slave trade, and the institutions that are being called out today within the British government. My family dealt with the Church of England, the Bank of England, Lloyd's of London. I have all the paperwork. So this is something that they can't deny. I've been on this for 30 years.
Oh, okay, no problem. I just wanted to hear your question. Sure, thank you.
Okay.
Your statement, rather. Yeah.
Thank you,
The
family.
information in the chat, brother.
Okay, I will definitely keep in contact with you, Brother Everett.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. This will be the keynote address, rather short, few minutes message from the 10th successor and the 11th President General, 10th successor to the Right Excellent Marcus Messiah Garvey, and the 11th President General of the UNIA-ACL, the man who sits in Mr. Garvey's seat today. So we'll hear his message. One moment.
Duncan, 10 successor. Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is President General Michael R. Duncan, 10 successor to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I salute you in the name of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the greatest man that ever walked earth. We thank our ancestors for sending him, and we are grateful for everything he has done for us. We will continue to serve Mr. Garvey under the red, black, and green, under one God, one aim, one destiny. Recently, we were advised of a pardon being given to Mr. Garvey. A pardon to me suggests that Mr. Garvey did something wrong. A pardon to me suggests that Mr. Garvey committed a crime. So I'm not endorsing or I'm not interested in a pardon for Mr. Garvey, because what a pardon basically states that is that Mr. Garvey committed a crime, and for that crime he's being pardoned. The pardon in itself takes away one thing, which is basically the conviction, but it doesn't take away the crime. It doesn't take away the fact that Mr. Garvey will still be listed as a criminal in the books of the United States of America. So a pardon, again, we are not interested. Secondly, we would love to see Mr. Garvey gets exonerated. Exonerated in the sense that all the charges are wiped clean. Mr. Garvey did nothing wrong, therefore he should not be convicted of anything. So what we're looking for is a full exoneration of the honorable prophet. Brothers and sisters, we have seen what this has done for us. You see, with a pardon, you're limited, but with an exoneration, what you're saying that the real estate that were stolen, the assets that were taken, under an exoneration, we would have to revisit that, and the UNIA would have to be giving back those funds that were taken away over 100 years ago. So those funds are due to Mr. Garvey. However, if it's a pardon, it's null and void. If it's an exoneration, we can revisit that. Brothers and sisters, as we see it, we are asking people to pardon Mr. Garvey. Mr. Garvey would not ask for any pardon because he said it clear and he meant it. Mr. Garvey said, when I did what I did, I knew exactly what would happen to me. However, he said, men who are in earnest are unafraid of consequences, brothers and sisters. So we in ourselves, we must exonerate Mr. Garvey. We must put him forward. And the best way to honor and to exonerate Mr. Garvey is to join his movement, is to become an active member in the UNIA, so we can promote Black Pride, we can promote race first, we can promote what Mr. Garvey left here for us. Mr. Garvey would love to see us doing the work for our people, making our people strong and helping to build a strong base of unity in Africa for African people. Brothers and sisters, again, I salute you in the name of the Prophet, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. One God, one aim, one destiny.
That was a powerful message, President General.
Thank you, brother.
Before we close out, President General, could you just elaborate, because it's one thing that you always said way back when we were talking about the pardon, about how they wouldn't do it, exonerate him because they would owe, and our High Commissioner, Brother Mabruas, just entered the building. Ray Frick, Brother Mabruas, that, I'm sorry, Brother President General, that, you know, they will have to repay us for the items they've taken from us, the property and the businesses and so forth. Can you elaborate on that? Because I think a lot of people don't know that we are growing stronger under you, but we should be a lot stronger. But when they cut the head of our organization, of our government, and take them down, how that hurt us a bit. So could you elaborate on that real quick?
Yes, brother, you have to realize that the significance of this, the U.S. government, not even the U.S. government, Jamaica knew what they did to Mr. Garvey. As of recently, Mr. Garvey was still listed on the books of Jamaica as a criminal, even though he was a national hero, because they know once Mr. Garvey is exonerated, the charges that we're going to bring against him is going to be a whole lot. They know what they have stolen. The whole of Harlem Hospital, a whole lot of buildings in Harlem were indirectly taken because of these convictions. So we're saying that they know exactly what would happen if Mr. Garvey is exonerated, because it would mean that now we are going back after the finances. But these people, just like how they don't plan to pay us for slavery, they will never pay reparation unless we can take it from them. They have no intention of giving back what they took from Mr. Garvey and the UNIA, because had they not done what they did, the UNIA would be one of the major ruler of the world today. We would have controlled Africa and kicked out all the oppressors. All the resources we would have control over in Africa. And everything that was taken from here in these United States, the real estates, the various assets stolen, taken, we would have to reconsider that. And we would have to sit down and have a calculation with these people, which these people don't want to do. They don't want to give back these funds. They don't want to give back these resources. So what they said, let's give them a pardon. Let's give them a pardon and make them happy. Maybe if we give them a pardon, then they'll forget about the exoneration. So again, brothers and sisters, we know what's at stake, and you have to stop and think. Whenever this man believes that you can hurt him financially or he's going to have to pay you back money as an African, he will do everything to circumvent that. This was brought in Congress by Charles Rangel and them way back when, and nothing was done, because if an exoneration is given, it is telling us that Mr. Garvey is totally innocent, and we have to look into everything that was taken from him. For the false conviction, we could sue them enormously, endlessly, brothers and sisters, and for that, they will never exonerate Mr. Garvey. Again, having this program says this morning, at least let me look at this from a different standpoint as going forward. Because prior to this morning, me coming on this call, I didn't see any good of the pardon. But now that it allows us to come on board and have a serious conversation, this helps the UNIA. So again, brothers and sisters, if we continue to build under one banner in all corners, putting away all religious scruples, all political machinations, if we hold tight together, we will exonerate Mr. Garvey, and we will force these governments, be it in the United States, be it in Jamaica, be it in Liberia, to give back those funds that were directly or indirectly taken. But for that to happen, we have to prove to them that Mr. Garvey's name was spared. The assets were taken from the UNIA wrongfully, and we want them back. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Santi Sana.
Brother Everett, I think we could prepare to close on that.
Hey, President John, you and Brother Everett look like y'all could be related like brothers for real.
I gotta shave. It's cold out here. I gotta shave. That's what it is. But hey, President General.
Yes, brother.
I forgot Brother Maru, and I don't know if we acknowledge President Clyde either. So go ahead, Brother Everett. My apologies.
Yes, I mentioned Brother Maru coming in if they wanted to say something, but President General, hopefully I'm not asking you too much. Could y'all recite that letter?
When you talk, it's Garvey.
Brother Everett, Brother Maru, if you're on, I love you, brother. Brother Clyde, I love you, brother. My only friends I have are in the UNIA. Because I don't want any more friends. And if I meet people and they want to be my friends, they have to join the UNIA. So, brothers and sisters, again, I'm going to thank you for this morning. Mr. Garvey, gave his life for us. He gave everything. He said, all I have given you. Mr. Garvey stepped into those courthouses. He knew he couldn't win. He knew he couldn't win, brothers and sisters. And while being in New York City, having to defend himself, you know, Mr. Garvey had to go through court. Mr. Garvey was convicted. And while in court, Mr. Garvey was getting the better of the Attorney General. And the Attorney General stood up and asked, are you going to let the tiger go? Are you going to let the tiger go? We know they weren't going to allow Mr. Garvey to go. They convicted Mr. Garvey. And Mr. Garvey said, yes, you have caged the tiger. However, my cubs are roaming. I'm seeing a lot of cubs on this platform today. And with these cubs on this platform, this is telling me that Mr. Garvey lives. While in Atlanta Federal Prison, Mr. Garvey was asked, if you had to do it all over again, would you do it the same way? Do you have any regrets? Mr. Garvey's statements were, when I did what I did, I knew exactly what would happen to me. However, men who are in earnest are unafraid of consequences. Therefore, brothers and sisters, today, and going forward, we must be ready to commit ourselves to Garvey and Garveyism. We must be ready to commit to the exoneration of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. We must be ready to take back everything that was taken from us, including reparation for the enslavement of our people. We must be ready and willing to make Mr. Garvey's name whole again. So Mr. Garvey knew they would kill him in Atlanta. So Mr. Garvey wrote a letter in advance and sent it out to all the UNIA divisions worldwide to let the people know that after my enemies are satisfied, Black people, I shall come back to serve. In life, I will be the same, but in death, I shall be a terror to the foes of Black liberty. If death has power, count on me to be the real Marcus Garvey. If I may come in a cyclone, pestilence, or as God would have me, Black people, don't you know I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you? Would I not go to hell 1,000,000 times for you? Would I not cry at the footstool of the Lord omnipotent? Black people, would I not walk the earth like the ghost of Macbeth for you? Then why be sad? Cheer up and be assured that if it takes 1,000,000 years, the sins of our enemies shall visit the 1,000,000 generation of those who hinder and oppress us. If I die in Atlanta, if I die in Atlanta, if I die in Atlanta, my work then shall only begin. For I shall live in the spiritual to see the days of Africa's glory. Black people, look for me in the whirlwind. Black people, look for me in the storm. Black people, look for me all around you, for with God's grace and blessing, I shall rise again. And when I am dead, wrap me in the mantle of the red, black, and green, for with God's grace and blessing, I shall bring with me countless millions who have died in the Caribbean, North America, and Africa, to aid us in the fight for freedom, liberty, and life. Brothers and sisters, we hear those words of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. He spoke about the spiritual aspect of it. Our spirituality have been taken away from us, so we don't know how to fight anymore. We don't know right from wrong anymore. So we must go back to our spirituality. It is what saved us in Jamaica from the Europeans. It is what saved us in North America. It is what make not turn us so strong and to defend African people here in North America. Yes, brothers and sisters, we thank.
Mute yourself, President General.
Teach, President General.
You got muted.
They
Thank you.
muted.
I didn't
Oh,
realize
there
it
you
went
go.
muted. I didn't realize
That's
it went
okay.
muted.
You was gone. You was gone, President General. You was gone.
Yeah, when you say that speech, it brings chills out. And again,
Woo!
this is
Yes, sir.
for all the people that aren't
Yes,
members of
indeed.
the
Yes,
UNIA.
powerful, powerful.
For
Black
all the people that
power.
aren't members of
Yes.
the UNIA, this is what you miss when you're not a member. The history of the UNIA, the lessons that we teach. One of the things that I learned when I first was told to join, when I joined the UNIA, was by Roz Marvin. I said, "What do I got to do?" He said, "You got to learn. You got to learn." And we take that very seriously in the UNIA, our history, and being like the President General said, the cubs of Marcus Garvey, true Garveyites. You can only claim it by being a member of his organization, the government he founded. It just makes us look strong. And
That's right.
you know,
That's right.
I love all of you guys because
That's right.
we're on a strong mission. It's a lot of duties to be a member of the UNIA. It's to be a Garveyite or call yourself a Garveyite. Me and Brother John and Brother Shaka was talking about it yesterday. It was like we got to do this because it's our duty. You know, we can't get tired.
Right.
People look up. People look up to us when they see that flag and they rocking it. You know, it's history to that flag, and only we can tell the true story and history of it because we study it so hard. And so I love you all. I'm gonna pass it the mic back to Brother John and Brother Shaka. So y'all can close us out.
I got you. I wanted to, yeah, we're getting ready to close out. Not much to say after the President General delivers that type of message, other than what you said, to join the UNIA, join the ranks of the UNIA. You have a gathering here of all leadership throughout the nation: Philadelphia, Chicago, New York, Baltimore, DC, Atlanta. If I'm forgetting anybody, please forgive me. But even in other parts of the, Detroit, my apologies. I knew it was someone else.
Curacao, and Buffalo was on
as
too.
well. See, yeah, I'm the wrong.
Worldwide, international.
But at the end of the day, there's no reason not to become a part of the rank. So that's all I have to say. High Commissioner Brother Maru, I don't know if he had a chance to greet the family or if he wanted to say anything.
Yes, Commissioner John and Minister Everett. Yeah, thank you. I heard the PG do what the PG do, and that is give the message of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. I've loved when he goes, and because it seems like the spirit just grabs the PG,
He gone.
and, and I be looking him in his eyes, man, when he's saying it, and he said, I would be a terror. I mean, I feel that, bruh. I think Brother Everett, he feel that too every time he say that. So it's like, yeah, it's like I'm singing a song with him. That song there. I think one of the highest honors to be called is a race man or woman, to be dedicated to your race. And that is one of the highest accolades or honors that we can have. And those of us being Garveyites, we are truly race men and women. I'm looking at the names of some of the people on this call, and I know that I would not want to be against us, because I see some diehards here. Sister Maxine, I see her. I see
Face first.
The lady president from Detroit. I see her. And I know that our women, they, strong women mean a strong race. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that Brother Everett informed me that we would be doing this, and I'm glad to hear the President's General take on it, because I really have my whole, I don't, my thing is that they owe us more than that. They owe us a lot more than that. And to say that you pardoned us, how can you pardon the greatest man that has walked the face of this earth? When I heard it, it was like, I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not upset that he was pardoned, but I'm upset of the injustice that they actually put on our founders. So
Yes,
I want it all. I want it all. I want what they owe us,
of
and they
course,
owe us a
brother.
whole lot. I'm glad that the PG he put it in words. They owe us, man. They owe us, and we're not those who going to sit back and just let it go. We need that, as the young guys say on the streets in Chicago. Let me get that. Let us get that. You know what I'm saying? We need that. All of that, So I'm glad to be able to be here.
Ashay.
I'm currently in the hospital. I just had two major surgeries in the last couple of days, but
Wishing you well.
hey,
Wishing you well, brother.
it don't stop. The work don't
That's
stop.
right. Stay strong. Stay
Yeah.
focused, Marua.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Sister Basim. And
Ashay.
race first, everyone, and I'll be talking to you all real soon.
Stay strong, brother. Stay strong, brother Marua. And make
Ashay.
sure you say hi to your mom and sister Gwen, the elders in Chicago, for me, brother. Give them my
Yeah.
love.
Yes,
Ashay.
sir. Yes, sir. I sure will. Race
Thank,
first, everyone.
thank you, High
Race first.
Commissioner. And I'm getting ready to give it to Brother Everett to prepare to close us out. Just a brief message to the youth. We gotta get on. We gotta be ready to do the work. We have, the best.
If you go black and white, it does become a war.
Yeah, mute that. We got the best leadership on the planet. And for some reason, when I'm talking to people, the only time we want to claim being old is when there's work to be done. So brothers, the 30s, 40s, particularly, we got a lot to do. Our leadership has laid the foundation, put in decades of work. It's time for us to, put on our boots and get on the front lines. Brother Everett, you got it.
Boots on the ground.
Yes.
Permission to speak.
Hold on 1 second, Chief Elder. Just wanted to say we've been doing a couple of group meetings trying to get us more united. We got another one February 8th. I'll send out the information. We'll be going over the Constitution. Even though I read the Constitution, I need to learn it and study it. And the last thing in the Constitution, Brother Shaka pushed on me, was that every president should be going over, of a division should be going over the Constitution once every 3 months. And that's something that all of our people need to know. It's in our Constitution. It's a law. We need to teach it. So I know I have to do a better job. And I know we're all busy trying to push our divisions and do a lot of work in the community. So we decided that instead of just doing it for one division, we could just all come together, go over it and learn it. If you missed the last HEC, the President General pulled something out and it was like, wow, I wish we would have went over this. We should all know this. So, we're going to invite everybody's possible. Hopefully he can join us so we can go over it and learn it together. It's something that we have to teach and it's something that we have to learn. Chief Elder, you wanted to comment before we close? And Brother Shaka, hopefully you could close us out. But Chief Elder?
Who's Chief Elder? I'm sorry. Oh, that's the name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Minister John, unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
As we close out, it will be a dishonor for our ancestor if I don't deliver this prayer real quick. Hotep and blessing, sending out positive energy for healing and spiritual growth and protection around the world. Everyone say, Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.
Ashe.
I say, oh.
Brother Clyde, you wanted to say something? You've been quiet before I pass the mic to Brother Shaka. And you know what I always say, let me hold a little something, Brother Clyde. Big money.
Brother Everett, I just want to say thank you so much for coordinating. Brother John, Brother Shaka, you guys did a fantastic job bringing the whole globe to the call here today. So that we can all uplift ourselves and re-energize as we go into this 2025 with renewed vigor to do the work that the Honorable Marcus Garvey desired us to do. We are his cubs. And so it is up to us to uplift him and his message in his Black print. PG, we certainly appreciate your message as well as always. Thank you so much.
No doubt.
And God bless everyone. And let's step it up.
Thank you, Brother
A couple
Clyde.
of notches here for this year and beyond. Thank you.
Last one, I see Lady President Lorraine, that you had something to say to close out before we get to Brother Shaka to close us?
Yes, I just wanted to remind people, I know I may not have to do this for people who are on this call, but there's a campaign out not to watch any of the inauguration today. So I just wanted to remind everyone of that. And it's a boycott on if you want to watch TV, watch maybe the other cable stations, but don't watch any TV with the inauguration. Anything on Martin Luther King, yes. Okay. Thank you. And thank you, PG, for your wonderful speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Brother Shaka?
Brother Mortimer had his hand up. Brother Mortimer, if you should please be.
And then Brother Shaka.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to express my appreciation and gratitude for all the things said today. And I wanted to let folks know I had to step away for a minute. But I just wanted to let folks know that if they go on Amazon Prime, if anyone has access to that account, there is a new short film called Mosiah, a short film that I actually came on late in the project, but I'm an associate producer of the film. But it's a short film on Mr. Garvey's life and legacy is available now for streaming on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if there's a price in that, depending on your account, but it's available this weekend. So anyone wanted to kind of get a clip or two of a reenactment of Mr. Garvey's court case, some of that is available online. So I just wanted to let that be known. And that's pretty much it. Again, respect to all that has been said. Great Garvey Day to all the Garveyites in the house.
Brother Mortimer, this is President General here. It's great having you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hey, always a pleasure to be in your presence, Mr. President.
Thank you.
All right, Brother Shaka.
Brother Everett, Minister of Information, you did a wonderful job today, especially considering you only had one day and you pulled our family together. I want to thank you, and I want to thank Brother John Hargrove, Commissioner of District 5.
Always there.
Of 421. You only had one day to make this happen. Now, what happens when you get a month, 6 months, and we put some of that PG money behind it to make it happen?
Right.
The sky's the limit. The eternity is the measurement.
Brother Shaka, anything for Brother Everett. Anything for Brother Everett.
Brother Everett?
He's a prize. So before I give the closing words of inspiration, I want to share with you something that the Honorable Marcus Garvey left us with. he says in More Philosophy and Opinions, Volume 3, if you can understand the almighty force of the white man, you will know that he represents a terrible force in the world, a force that has been made by his superior intelligence. His sciences, his arts, his engineering is a terror to the man who has done nothing yet. If you can contemplate these things and realize that your civilization must go beyond him, you can understand what I am talking about. Your civilization must project a thought in the world, and if you are to be people that we want you to be, you will have to surpass what man has done by doing what you can do. What the Negro has contemplated under the program of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is to project a civilization that will surpass the program of other men. Unquote. Let us humble our spirits. Repeat after me. One God.
One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Destiny.
Africa for the African.
Africa
for the African.
Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad.
Race first.
Race first.
Race first.
See you all at ATC, April the 13th through the 15th. Race first. Good job, brothers.
Race first.
We got a program in February.
Marcus Garvey. Long live Marcus Garvey. I
But
say.
That's right. It's not over yet, brothers and sisters. It's not over yet.
Generations to come. Let's go. Give thanks.
Brother Everett, you want me to play the anthem on the way out?
Yeah, you can. Appreciate
it. Beautiful.
Race first, Black Power.
Black Power.
Black Power.
Ethiopia, the land of our fathers, the land where the gods love to be. As storm cloud at night suddenly gathers, our armies come rushing to thee.
We must in the fight be victorious when swords are thrust outward to me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Victory be glorious when led by the red, black, and green.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Advance, advance to victory. Let Africa be free. Advance, advance to meet the foe. Advance to meet the foe. With the might of the red, the black, and the green. With the might of the red, the black, and the green.
Ethiopia, the tyrants of all, who smote thee upon thy knees, and thy children are lustfully calling from over the distant sea.
Jehovah, the great one, has heard us, has noted our sighs and our tears. With the spirit of love, he has spurred us to be one through the coming years. Advance, advance to victory, let Africa be free. Advance, advance to meet the foe. Advance, advance to meet the foe. With the might of the red, the black, and the green. With the might of the red, the black, and the green. O Jehovah, the God of ages, grant unto our sons that flee the wisdom
song thou gave to thy sages when Israel was sore in need. Thy voice from the temples has spoken. Ethiopia shall stretch forth thy hand. By thee shall our fetters be broken, and heaven bless our dear fatherland.
Beautiful family.
Advance, advance to victory, let Africa be free. Advance, advance to beat the foe. Advance to beat the foe. Lift the minds of the men, the bands agree. With the minds of the red, the black, and the green.
Georgia, look what you did. Ashe, race first.
All right.
Bravo.
Race first.
All right,
How
family.
you
Race
doing?
first.
How you doing?
See everybody the
First,
8th,
everyone.
February 8th.
February 8th. We'll see y'all again.
Get out the
Okay,
message.
peace and
Thank
blessings.
you.
Ashe,
Georgia.
thank
first,
you.
family.
Sante Sana.
Race
Amen.
first.
Race first.
Amen.
Hey.
Race first.